This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Oakland Athletics.
And the pitch is swung on, hit the right field, hit deep. Whitefield going back at the track, over his head, and over the wall. Do you believe that?
And 29 other MLB clubs.
Ramirez with a drive to deep right, away back, goal!
Go Hayes! Gets a bomb out there by the Rocks. And boy, oh boy, this third inning is now showtime.
It is a Judgian blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to spin rates to game-changing moments. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us next from the town, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of A's Cast Live. Hard to believe it's a Friday, as the A's are going to be in our nation's capital. They had the day off yesterday. We'll ask Mark Kotsay here in just a little bit about, did any guys take part? If you've never been to Washington, D.C., I highly recommend it. Everything, the way they've set it up, is basically free. All the Smithsonian's are free, museums, learn about our country, how our country was started. DC is one of my favorite cities, and you just can't do it all in one trip. I've been lucky to do it multiple times. I never grew up as a kid where like schools go, like my kids, we didn't do that. So the first time I ever got to go to DC, I was an adult.
Same.
And I was floored. And the last time we were there, we did I know I've talked about this before, but we did the little historical trip with the kids where we went to D.C., to Philly, to New York. And we did the tour of the White House, which was just incredible. The tour of the Capitol, absolutely unbelievable. So we'll see if some of the A's players did that yesterday. And maybe Lawrence Butler, first day in the big leagues, touring our nation's capital. So we'll talk to Mark Kotsay in just a little bit. Fran Riordan, leader of men, leader of the red-hot Las Vegas Aviators.
First place, second half, Las Vegas Aviators.
Did you think you could keep him down after the first half?
We know that Fran gets the team going, especially they're slow starters.
Do you win the football game in the first half or the second half?
Second half.
You're damn right. No one circles the wagons like Fran Riordan and the Buffalo Bills, being a big Bills fan. At 1:30, my guy, I'm so happy, finally. Who used to do that in wrestling? Finally.
The Rock.
Dan O'Dowd is on the program.
No, finally, Dan O'Dowd has come back to A's Cast Live.
Yes. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. If you listen to everybody on MLB Network, love all the guys. Nobody's better than him. Guy was in the Cleveland Indians system as management when they were basically bringing up all the best players, selling out Jacobs Field every night, then takes the Rockies job, which is probably the hardest job in the sport.
Yeah, I don't disagree whatsoever.
He got the Rockies to the World Series.
Fact.
I mean, Dan O'Dowd, and he's great on television. Dan O'Dowd is going to join us coming up here at 2 o'clock. Mark Kotsay at 2:30. And then an old friend. He's still a National.
Rehabbing, but yes, still a National.
He's still getting paid by the Nationals. He's an all-star. He's a World Series champion. And he'll be an all-time A's favorite. Can you make a case for Sean Doolittle to be in the A's Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we talked about this the other day when we were going over the Hall of Famers. You can still vote for the 2024 class of for the A's Hall of Fame, athletics.com/vote. You have till September 6th. Yeah, I think he has a good chance. I think you can make a good case for him if you look from 2010 on.
He's for sure in the greatest humans to ever play for the A's Hall of Fame.
100%. We put him in there. You put Liam Hendricks in there. You know, there's a lot of guys, but those two are the top of my that I know of top of my head.
Tony
list.
Kemp will go in
Tony
there
Kemp,
someday. Yeah. So Sean Doolittle will be great to catch up and do and just see what's going on in his world. But the big story today, Lawrence Butler has been one of the names that we've been looking at for the last X amount of years. And What was he drafted in? 17, 18? I think 18.
The high school kid from Georgia. Yeah,
Westlake.
Westlake, yeah.
Westlake High, something like that.
Lawrence Butler was drafted in 2018, the 6th round.
Got it. And, we've been hearing about the athleticism. Give me the size. Give me his size.
6'3", 210.
Got size, got speed, got athleticism. He's got everything that we haven't seen in years. When's the last time we saw just an athlete out in the outfield?
And baseball,
just
or the A's?
The A's, not baseball. They're all over.
Yeah, that's true.
The A's. I'm talking an athlete, not Dallas Braden's pitchers are athletes thing, which I totally agree with him. But I'm talking about a real athlete. I'm talking about a thoroughbred. I'm talking about when this man runs out to the outfield, you go, damn, he's got size. God, he can run. Look at him throw. This guy's a thoroughbred. He looks like you line him up, he looks like he can win the race. When's the last time the A's had a guy like that?
None that I can really think of. It's been a while. Especially this is a homegrown guy. This isn't a guy he traded for.
I don't care where he came from. You're talking 6'3", 210, can flat out play. And I'm not trying to oversell it. He could just be up for a few days, which will be a crime. And he may struggle. That's fine. But when is the last time the A's brought up a guy that you go, wow, this is an athlete? This is a guy that is a full package kind of guy. I'm waiting. Text David Feldman. When's the last time you've seen this? Again, how far back do you got to go?
It's been a while.
Where you just say, man, 6'3", 210, run, throw, power, everything. This guy is an athlete. You raised a thoroughbred racehorse, and he's going to be on display in our nation's capital. And they got some good young players too now. CJ Abrams leading off tonight in that Juan Soto trade. Hey, by the way, the guy who's playing short tonight for the Nationals is the guy that turned Uriz into an outfielder. Because the Padres, back in the day, had what was called the number one system in baseball. And these guys, part of the guys in the trade for Juan Soto were in that trade. Well, it's the guy who's leading off tonight for them playing playing shortstop is the reason why Ruiz went to center field. Because Ruiz was in that group and they realized he can't play with these guys. So we got to find somewhere else for him to play. That's why he went to outfield.
They have the Nats actually have some good young talent. They have Joey he's not young, but he's young and playing time years. Joey Meneses is a nice younger player for them. They got Lane Thomas, who should have been an all-star, but he wasn't. K-Bear Ruiz, who's a catcher. He can't throw anyone out, but he has a good bat.
The numbers on that, it's Ruiz versus Ruiz in this series because he has caught just 16 of 100 base stealers. And they've allowed 84 stolen bases so far this year, the most in Major League Baseball. So you know what, SD? It's time to get your track shoes on. I want it, 3-game set, 6 stolen bases minimum. They can't throw you out. So you just got to find a way to get on, and they can't throw you out.
That's 2 a game. I think that's doable if he gets on base that many times, which he's shown he has a tendency sometimes to get on base that many times in a series.
Well, that's the biggest question for him is how does he get on base if he doesn't hit?
He doesn't walk.
But what I like about today, and maybe we'll see tomorrow, and we have no clue about Sunday, and I know we'll take your phone calls about it at 833-625-2278 after the game on the Clubhouse Show, is let these young kids play. Finally. There's only one thing that I can't stand about the lineup today. I can't ask Mark Kotsay about it because we interviewed him earlier today. Seth Brown playing first base and Tyler Soderstrom DHing. It's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, we want to win games. We want to win games every day. You want to win games every day? If you want to win games every day, you would have never pitched Danny Jimenez against the Texas Rangers. Don't make the Danny Jimenez move and then tell me you want to win every day. And it's my belief that by playing these young guys and letting them gel together, you have a better chance of winning every day. You had a better chance with them figuring it out and getting better together as a unit. You'll win more games than the randomness, the chaos that you put out there every day. Seth Brown doesn't play first all spring, and it takes him 80-something games, and now you start playing him at first base. That's chaos. That's not what winners do. Danny Jimenez hasn't thrown in months. You've got a 2-game winning streak. Kirby Snead can't field his position, ties the game up, but you're tied against the Rangers. You win this game, you've won 3 in a row, feeling good about yourself. What do? You bring in Danny Jimenez, who throws his first fastball. If it's 60 feet, 6 inches, he throws it like 55 feet and then has no confidence in it, and then has a bad breaking ball that they just keep filleting into right field and tattooing. So if you want to win every day, we're watching. We're looking at it. And then, by the way, the next day you sent Danny Jimenez down. Is that a winning strategy? I don't think so. I'll answer it for you.
Okay. I was going to say no, but
yeah.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I just want to make sure you didn't. But right, am I wrong on that? Like, you should. Danny Jimenez needed a soft landing at best, and you put him in a game that you not had a chance to beat the Rangers. That's 3 straight. You're talking about the young guys starting to feel it a little bit, as our good friend Dennis Eckersley would say, feeling yourself. Start feeling yourself a little bit, and you throw Danny Jimenez out there. Now you got, once again, instead of Soderstrom, hey, Ryan Noda's out. I talked to Noda. So now I'm not going to say anything that I'm stepping across the line here. I'm a big Noda fan. I've been on Team Noda since spring training. And I've come to find out he was one of the untouchable guys, by the way, at the trading deadline. Noda is a freak thing with the jaw, and it's the type of deal that it could get re-injured real quick. So you really got to see how it heals, how you decide. Like he's gone down to Arizona. He'll hear Mark Kotsay say that, but he can't get hit in the same spot. Then you're talking about wiring the jaw shut for, what is that, like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It's a great diet plan.
Yeah, it's true.
You want to lose weight? Yeah, you have the old jaw wire. I can't even imagine how miserable that must be.
Because you'd essentially have to eat everything from a straw, right?
Yeah,
that'd be terrible.
Can you imagine? Like, you're just some people might like it. For me, but no, I can't imagine trying to sleep with my. You try and open your mouth. I can't even imagine.
I think it'd be easier for people.
Pain.
Younger people like Noda and myself, like our age group. I think it would be easier because everyone just texts everybody anyway. No one talks face to face or in person, so communication might be easier.
No, Noda's a talker. No, my guy Noda is a talker. But with Noda being out, you've had an opportunity to play Soderstrom every day at first base, and you haven't. That's just I don't get it. I don't get it. But I love the fact that tonight you're seeing Ruiz, Blade, and Butler all in the same outfield. I don't know. My crystal ball, I told you we need to get a crystal ball. Got to get a crystal ball. We got to get to the crystal ball.
We're both Prime members. Well, our wives are Prime members.
Yes. Text my wife. Tell her we need a crystal ball. She'll be here by Monday's show. I can't tell you what my crystal ball sees. But I want to let these guys this opportunity. Please let these 3 roam the outfield for the next month and just see. And if at any point somebody is overmatched, Ruiz is not overmatched. Blade has to prove he can hit. we watch him and we go, I like it. But, you can't hit 200 and stay in the big league. So Bleday's got to prove he can hit. And that's the opportunity you want. This is what J.J. Bleday wanted. He wanted an opportunity. Can you play at this level? Here's the opportunity. And let Butler play. Let Butler play. Let these three guys, because I can tell you, we have already seen with our data has gone up with Geloff and Soderstrom. I mean, Geloff's the fastest A ever to 6 home runs. Geloff has shown you nothing, and Mark Kotsay is going to tell you the praise that they have for Geloff right now inside the organization. I mean, if you're watching Zach Geloff, you're watching somebody. Here's another guy. When's the last time this team's called up a guy and you're like, damn, this guy can play? This isn't what we saw down in Stockton or down at San Jose when Stockton was there, when we were there for the Porch Giants, and we saw Zach Geloff was a third baseman. This guy, bigger, more mature, dynamic as hell. Geloff is as dynamic as you get, man. Foul pole to foul pole power, tons of power the opposite way. He's big. He can run.
Yeah, 6 steals is long.
He's everything you want. When's the last time a guy came up from the A's system and you were like, damn? I got to tell you, Matt Chapman was a strikeout machine. Matt Olson, up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Murph didn't hit.
Marcus didn't hit at first either.
Marcus had big league time. He came over in the Samardzija trade.
Did he play a lot, though, with the White Sox?
Yeah, he played in the outfield, played in the infield. This is a guy that's never played in the big leagues.
I like what I've seen from Geloff. I'll ask you this because I didn't get a chance to ask you the other day. The A's rookie record for second baseman for home runs is 14 by Scott Spezio. Does Zach Geloff get that?
You mean Angel 02 hero Scott Spezio?
Yes, that same guy.
That guy?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in a band, or is he still in a band?
That's a good question. I don't know. But he has a rookie record of 14.
14. Wow.
I try to do the on pace, but
how was that possible? McGuire had the all-time rookie record.
Rookie second baseman.
Oh, I was going to say, McGuire had 49.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Didn't McGuire play second base some? Put his big ass over there. Imagine Mark McGuire playing second base.
That record did stand until, Polar Bear.
What's going on with the Polar Bear? What? I mean, this dude's hit more home runs than anybody since what? 2018, 19, something like that?
Yeah. And what's he doing this year? The Mets stink.
He's hit a ton of bombs lately.
35 home runs. He's in 227.
He's hit 35 home runs.
That's pretty impressive.
He's got an 854 OPS. Come on. A 133 OPS plus, I'll take it. There's times I'll take the batting average. I'll go,
the only guy ahead of him in the American League at first base with home runs and RBIs is Matt Olson.
I mean, at some point, by the way, Kyle Tucker is tied with Matt Olson for the most RBIs since the All-Star break. Kyle Tucker.
It's a good player for people sleep on him with Houston.
Wow.
It's a good player.
He put the batting gloves on and he's unstoppable.
I'm going to steal something from our good friend Torey Lavelle that I heard today. He's a professional baseball player. That's what Torey said about Tommy Pham. Professional baseball player.
How does that work out? He's a professional baseball player.
That's what Kyle Tucker is.
Doesn't anybody who get paid is a professional baseball player?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I never got paid to play, so as just a college player, I was always an amateur.
You were just a college baseball player.
Amateur baseball player. If you actually get money, if someone gives you money to play, you are now a professional player and you no longer have amateur status. But Tommy Pham is the one guy who's a professional player.
That's what I heard. That's what Torey said.
And see, now you're confusing me because I still haven't been able to figure out what a professional hitter versus a hitter is.
Well, that's like me. I'm confused what a professional baseball player versus a baseball player is.
Well, Mark Kotsay has said Zach Geloff is a baseball player.
I know, but he gets
what
paid.
Are the other 25 guys then? Yeah. If he's a baseball player, what are the other 25 guys? Just guys in uniform?
I think so.
Huh. Back to Butler.
Bring it up to Fran. Maybe Fran can answer that question.
Yeah, Fran, can you tell me the difference between you get paid, Fran. Are you a professional manager?
Or are you just a manager?
What are you? You know what, Fran, you got to help us out here. What is the difference between a professional hitter and a hitter?
You should ask Dan O'Dowd that too.
Because are your hitters not getting paid? Just the professional guys getting paid? Maybe you can
just
help
throw
us
Dan
out.
Off when he comes on. Dan,
nobody circles the wagons like Fran Riordan and the Las Vegas Aviators. Oh, I got a great question today. Whenever I get a chance, and the funniest thing was our post-game show on Wednesday. So A's with the win, avoid being swept. I will say this Orioles streak of not being swept since Adley Rutschman got there, I got to say it's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
And like you look at the list of all the teams that they're with, it's all yesteryear. I mean, it's hard to not have that's basically you've never lost 3 in a row. 2 gamers don't count, right?
No,
on the streak.
I think it was a 3-game sweep.
2-game series.
What is it? It's
don't
like
count.
76 or something. 76
in the
straight
70s.
series. Yeah.
Are you with me on that? The 2-game, like saying we swept the Giants over the weekend is like, as much as I want to crap on them, I can't say we swept. You can't. It's a 2 games.
Yeah. It's almost like back in 2020 when we had the 7-inning when Mad Bum had the 7-inning no-hitter.
That's not a no-hitter.
Yeah.
I have a 7-inning no-hitter. Doesn't count.
Was it against Giambi or Kotsay?
No, it was
AJ Hinch.
It was an all-star game in Cold League. All right. So we're doing the show on Sunday. I'm at NBC. I was Brody Brazil for the day. And the great Brody Brazil, who is healthy. We've seen him. He is okay.
Yeah, we saw him
it's just been freakish stuff. He's fine. He looks great.
When did we see him? Coliseum?
Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday. He's fine. He's fine.
So you were in for Brody on Wednesday.
I was in for Brody on Wednesday. So I hopped on with you and Jess on the post-game show. And, I took some shots at the Giants because that's what I do. There shouldn't be any secrets to anybody. I have an email somewhere in my house from my old program director, Bob Agnew, when I worked at KMBR for the 2002 World Series. I was on the coverage. I hosted the Giants pregame show for Game 1 of the World Series against the Angels with Ralph Barbieri, Bruce McGowan, Larry Krueger, and myself. I was in studio.
That's a who's who.
McGowan and Barbieri were in Anaheim for Game 1. Krueger and I were back in the studio. I was basically Jason Kidd. I was just passing the ball around to everybody. And my program director sent me, can you just act like a Giants fan for once? And I was on the Giants flagship station. So I've been crapping on these guys since even when I was on the Giants flagship station. And I will crap on them some more today. But I threw out the whole thing about the weekend, and immediately somebody hits me up on Instagram. I've never posted on Instagram. Never. I have an Instagram account because I follow food and golf. That's it. I follow people. It's either golf tips, great golf coaches, golf stuff, or food. Great chefs. You get unbelievable recipes on Instagram. And they show you how to do it. It's great. That's it. And some dude tried to follow me and then went after me. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me a Giants fan was listening to us on A's Cast post-game show, heard me clowning on the Giants, and then immediately reached out to me on Instagram? And I don't even know how you find me on it. I don't even know it's been so long.
I'd probably just search your name.
Yeah, but it's not like Chris Townsend, Oakland A's. It's like some random, I don't even know what it is. But yeah, wanted to DM me, and I sent it to you immediately. What kind of world do we live in that a Giants fan is listening to our show and then tries to come at me on social media?
The best part is it could have been someone at NBC Sports that just doesn't like you.
Ooh, that could be a good point.
Same. Could have been anyone. Could have been anyone in that building.
It just goes to show the people who hate you listen the most.
I also
we learned that from the great Howard Stern.
I also take some I don't know how to phrase it correctly. I don't like that your program director said be a fan. You're a media member, or you're a.
Oh no, KBR, you have to be a Giants fan.
See, I don't like that.
Sorry, it's
Either you don't. You're supposed to be objective. You're covering the team.
Look at our old station. I worked at KBR and I worked at 95.7. If you're not root for the Warriors, you think you're going to be on the air? Nope.
Oh, we're both not there anymore. Oh.
I mean, you don't think if you're pro Niner? I mean, I was the A's Raider guy. I became. Oh yeah, I was literally told. You already do the Raider shows. You already do the sideline stuff. Talk Niners. Do the stuff that's obligated. The rest talk Niners. I'm like, Niner fans don't want to hear from me, even though I used to cover the Niners. But I mean, it's like, so, hey, Kevin Brown's back. Not Kevin Brown, ace from the late 90s, early 2000s, Kevin Brown.
Kevin Brown, the Orioles broadcaster.
Yeah, not Kevin Brown throwing. Kevin Brown was pretty nasty back in the day.
Pitched a no-hitter, right? Wasn't it against the Giants?
With the Marlins, then went to the Padres, and then signed the highest contract in the history of baseball at the Dodgers, if I'm correct. Like,
yes.
He was $110 million or something.
Wasn't he like the first $100 million contract?
Yeah, and how did that work out?
Not great.
They should have told everybody right then. You know what? Everybody should have known right then when Kevin Brown signed that deal. And who is the old GM? Malone. There's a new sheriff in town. The guy Malone. He was like the Expos guy, came to LA.
Oh, for the Dodgers. Okay.
Yeah, he was the new there's a new sheriff in town. He signed Kevin Brown to that deal. Everybody in baseball should have known from that time on. $100 million contracts are a bad idea.
Let's just take before Franny didn't want to come on. The real Fran Riordan joins us. Franny being Kevin Franzen. Kevin Brown is 211 games. Kevin Brown is a Dodger with 58-32 with a 2.83 ERA.
For $100 million? Then it really fell apart when he went to the Yankees.
409, and then what do you mean? 6.50 ERA and 13 starts in 05?
He had a bad back.
He was 40.
It's when the steroids, allegedly.
Oh, wow.
Coming up next, we're going to get a scouting report on Lawrence Butler. We're going to circle the wagons. We're heading to Vegas. Fran Riordan, Aviators are hot. And we'll get his opinion on how all these young A's are doing next right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend and Commander Cody for Link Soul. You got to go to their website right now, linksoul.com. The new polos are unbelievable. New colors, lighter weight. We got our new summer shipment, Cody.
I couldn't be happier. I look better. All thanks to Link Soul.
So we're talking about new polos. You can check out their shorts, anything you need for summer. They have it right now. When you go to their website, they've got a smoking summer deal. Go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
Need some new summer swag? We've got your style covered. Get to the game early before we take on the Baltimore Orioles on Sunday, August 20th, and leave with your very own reversible A's t-shirt hoodie presented by Cal State East Bay.
Hit hard toward right field, has some carry. Back is Tucker taking a look at the wall, and it goes for Zach Geloff. How about that? Geloff drives it the other way.
Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
This is Chris Townsend, and if you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see my friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
It's Kids Cheer Free all summer long. Bring your kids ages 14 and younger to the ballpark on Sunday home games for free. After the game, race around the bases with Stomper on the same field that your favorite A's players do. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/kidsfree.
Watch parties aren't what they used to be ever since we got Xfinity. Now that kids can easily stream all their favorite stuff, they just have to worry about what's on the charcuterie board.
Are these just cut up hot dogs and spray cheese?
The best way to stream your favorites is on the Xfinity 10G network. Now through September 6th, get Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile. Switch today. Requires paperless bill and an auto-pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
This is the way to see your favorite Star Wars characters take flight. Get your tickets for a one-of-a-kind Star Wars-themed drone show presented by Chevron Texaco Rewards on Saturday, August 19th. May the Force be with you as you head out to the ballpark for this matchup against the Baltimore Orioles, followed by a dazzling post-game light show in a galaxy not so far away. You won't want to miss this. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/drone shows. That's athletics.com/drone shows.
Streaming from the town, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Well, we have said it for years that nobody circles the wagons in the second half. Not like the Buffalo Bills, like the Las Vegas Aviators, the great Fran Riordan and his ball club. You guys are red hot right now.
Yeah, we're playing really good baseball, opening up the second half. And it's good to play meaningful games. It's good to be in contention. It's good to have that competition and the juices flowing to try to win every game and to just try to get to the playoffs. And it's been a lot of fun so far the second half.
What's always interesting about your job is you want to get guys to the big leagues. That's what you need to do, but you still need to win games for yourself there in Las Vegas. Talk about how you lose guys come and go throughout the season, but you've got this puzzle. You're trying to complete this puzzle, and they're always giving you different pieces. What is that like?
I take it as a fun challenge. You have a lot of roster movement. You have a lot of guys going up and down. And like you said, when guys go up to go play in the big leagues, it's the greatest part of this job. It's the most rewarding part of this job. But at the same time, we still have a game that night to win and to try to compete in every single night. And, I just think our guys have done a good job of eliminating distractions and who's going up and who's staying and who's moving where and who's going where. And just really done a great job of focusing on the task at hand every single night. And I think from the staff all the way down to the 28 players we have on our roster, we've been doing a good job of just staying focused on what we have that day, who the players are that day, the personnel packages that we have, and just going from there.
What was the conversation like telling Lawrence Butler you're going to the big league?
I mean, it's always fantastic. We've talked about this before. When guys go to the big leagues that have been there 1, 2, 3 times, it's a little less climactic than a guy that's never been there. And for a young guy like Lawrence, who is such a good person, first of all, a great player, he's got a really bright future ahead. To be able to sit him down and let him know that he's in the big leagues for the first time. Our farm director Ed Sprague was in town, so it was just in the office. And just the look on Lawrence's face after we, you let him know it was going, and just emotion and the feeling. I one goal, reached one goal. Just to see the body and the Lawrence was really something special.
Do you want to call him back?
Well, he's on video, so it's just a Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. You were breaking up just a little bit, but Lawrence Butler, to me, I look at the size, I look at the speed. We saw it in spring training. When's the last time you remember a guy like this being promoted to the A's?
Athletically, he's tough guy to compare because he is the total package. He has size, strength, speed, athleticism, instincts, power. He's a good defender in the outfield. I can't remember sending a guy this young with this kind of skill set and this kind of potential up to the big leagues since I've been managing in AAA. So again, that made it a little bit more special. Lawrence wasn't even with us for that long, maybe a 3-week period, and he did some wonderful things in those 3 weeks. And it's just it's really good to see the future of our organization start to go to the big leagues and see the guys playing every day and starting to compete at the major league level.
I asked Mark Kotsay this earlier today. We're going to play a little bit later, and I want to get it from you. What does it mean that we're promoting guys to the big league level, but they're not guys? We're promoting guys that came from all the different trades. But what does it mean to be promoting guys like Geloff, Soderstrom, Butler, guys that were drafted, raised in this farm system?
Well, I think there's an extra level of appreciation and satisfaction, not only for the players that we drafted or signed as international free agents going to the big leagues, but the entire player development system, the entire scouting department who, works tirelessly all year to try to find these players and identify guys that can help us in the big leagues, which is no easy task when you're talking about, high school guys or college guys, because you just don't know how they're going to develop. And to see them get drafted, to see them go through our player development system and get better and improve, it just says a lot about the hard work that goes on, not only with the player themselves, but with the scouting department, the front office, and the entire player development system. All the coaches that work really, really hard from, all the way down to the Dominican Summer League and the Dominican Complex, all the way through AAA. And I can speak firsthand that it's really rewarding to see our own guys going up to the big leagues and becoming productive major league players.
What do you think of Zach Geloff's start here at the big league level?
It's phenomenal. To me, it's not surprising. He's a winning player with a winning mindset and really, really high ceiling with his talent. And he's a guy that's not going to ever leave anything on the field. He's going to squeeze out every inch of his potential and his ability, and he's going to give you everything he has every day to try to do things that are going to help the team win. So to see him have 6 home runs in his first 3 weeks in the big leagues, and to see him play defense the way he's playing at second base and run the bases and just bring that energy, it's not surprising, but it's always fantastic to see it come to fruition.
Now, I just don't remember that many guys who come up and have the ability not only to go to the right side as a right-handed hitter, but drive the ball out of the ballpark too. Now, there's been power hitters. Obviously, Chris Davis had unbelievable opposite field power. The greatest I've ever seen since I've been covering baseball was Mike Piazza. But he has the ability, base hits, doubles down the line, doubles into the gap, leave the yard. How many right-handed hitters lately have you seen like that? Because most guys seem like everybody's just trying to pull it and hook it down the line.
Well, I mean, in the big leagues today, you have a guy like Freddie Freeman, who is, an MVP candidate who just tries to use the whole field and hit the ball hard and hit line drives. And his approach with his strengths has led to a lot of home runs and a lot of damage. The list isn't very long, even in the big leagues, of guys that have that opposite field power. And with Zach, he does have that in his toolkit. And if you see him hit a home run to right center field, that's his ace swing. And that's when he's seeing the ball really well and he feels really good at the plate. And he still would have the ability to pull the baseball if it's a pitch that should be pulled. But Zach does have that ability, and it's pretty exciting to watch.
Tyler Soderstrom, you know how special he's going to be. The coaches up here know. Mark Kotsay knows. But you're 21 years old. And if you do have anything that they can expose, they're going to expose it right away. But just, what do you think overall, what you've seen so far and what you think he can be at the big league level?
I think Tyler's going to be a force. And I think the first thing that you have to look at when, he's experiencing his first month in the big leagues is his age. He's 21 years old. He was drafted in 20. He didn't get a full season in 2020 because of the outside and the pandemic. But, he's really gotten so much better in every aspect of his game in a very short time. And yeah, is he producing the way that he wants to right now in the big leagues? No, but it's going to come. It's going to come with experience. It's going to come with at bats. It's going to come with seeing pitches. It's going to come with him making the necessary adjustments at that level that lead to success. And not only is Tyler very talented, but he's very smart too. So he will figure it out. He will make the necessary adjustments, and he will become the force that everyone believes that he will become.
I know Joey Estes has come up. I probably like he's pitched once or twice for you, something like that. I know it's very limited, but he's very young, up in AAA. Obviously, he's one of the guys that came over in the trades that you're hoping is going to pan out. Can you give us much on him, what you've seen so far?
Well, he pitched once in Albuquerque, and he was very impressive. He's got a fastball that has really unique attributes, and it looks like the guys don't see it very well. He's got good velocity, and his secondary stuff is good as well. What I saw in his first and only start here in AAA is a really, really intense competitor, somebody that has good stuff and throws strikes and competes in the strike zone, and somebody that has a really bright future in our organization. So, yeah, he's actually pitching for us tonight. It'll be his second start, and I'm really excited to see Joey's progress.
Yeah, is it really noticeable when you bring a really young guy up to AAA? Because obviously most guys, they're not exactly that young in their careers anymore when they're in AAA.
Well, it depends. It's player dependent, and there's levels of maturity from 20 or 21-year-olds that varies across the board. And you can tell that Joey has that edge, that maturity, that mindset that it doesn't matter that he's a very young guy that's competing at a very high level at a very young age. He gets after it like a grizzled vet in the one start that I saw. And I think that's huge for his just progression and getting to the big leagues as quick as you can, because he doesn't look at his age as a detriment. He understands what he has to do. He has to compete in the strike zone. He has to get outs, and he doesn't care whether he's 18 years old or 30 years old. He's going to approach things the same way. And I think that's the mindset that you have to have as a young player.
I know it's hard to believe for a lot of people. It's just early August, but it is football season. You will finish your year and you will head back, and your Buffalo Bills once again are going to be big contenders this year for potentially the Super Bowl. How you feeling about your Bills?
I'm always feeling good about the Bills. It's been so much fun just to watch them play the last 3-4 years since Josh Allen came into the league. And we've been let down a little bit at the end of the season, but we're Bills fans. We're used to it. We've been let down since 1991 when we lost the Super Bowl to the Giants and Scott Norwood missed the field goal. So we're used to the letdown. We're used to the suffering, but we embrace it. And every year's a new year, and we're gonna support them no matter what. And hopefully, this will be the year that gets us over the edge.
As a Raider fan, I can tell you, it was so great when John Elway retired. Just get this guy out of the league, a guy that just torments you for all those years. How nice is it now? You look at the schedule, and Bill Belichick doesn't seem so tough without Tom Brady anymore.
Well, it's nice not to chalk up 2 L's every time you play the Patriots anymore, because that's what it was for, I think, a 16 or 17-year stretch when Brady and Belichick were together. So, we have a fighting chance with everybody in the division now, and it wasn't like that for a long time. So, yeah, it's great. Good riddance, Tom Brady.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And people don't understand. Like Buffalo, it's the game in town. There's so many Bills fans. Even north of the border, there's Bills fans. And even though it gets cold, you guys don't care. It's your love. Is it hard? It's like you're in the total extreme of the desert and the heat as a manager, and then you leave to the total extreme in football season in the freezing cold in Buffalo. But can you explain to people just what the fan base is like and the love for that team? It's like no other.
I mean, I think passionate is not strong enough of a word to describe Bills fans. They live and die with the team's success, and the city has a different vibe on Mondays after the team wins, and you go on a little run and you're in first place in the division, and people start seeing Super Bowl visions dancing in their heads, and It's just they're so woven into the fabric of the community, and people kind of relate to the team, the coaching staff, the blue collar mentality of the team, and the culture that they've created. And it's just a really good fit for the kind of town that Buffalo is, and it just means a lot to the community. And I so appreciate the fact that the coaches and the players understand that, and they do a lot to give back, and they do a lot to kind of, entwine themselves into the community as well, so that it gives us a feeling that we're all in it together. So it's a very symbiotic relationship with the citizens and the team, and it's a lot of fun.
People with no shirts on, freezing cold, jumping on tables in the parking lot, stuff you see every single day everywhere else in the NFL.
Well, if you want to see things that you haven't seen, you should take a trip to Orchard Park and watch the Bills play and experience the tailgate there, because there's some wild stuff going on.
All right, let's end on this, because I follow all kinds of restaurant stuff, and they just did a whole thing on the Red Rock Casino right there. I didn't realize how good the restaurant and the restaurants are in there, and the deals, because Vegas obviously on the Strip has gotten pricey. Is it true you're getting world-class food right there? I mean, they're talking about you could get a prime rib and lobster. It was for $35, and it's award-winning. Are you able to go over there and beat that up, the old Red Rock and the restaurant?
Well, I'm over at the Red Rock all the time. There's some fantastic places over there.
Yeah.
With, T-bones and Osteria and Blue Ribbon Sushi. And I don't know any deals where there's $39 surf and turf, but I'm going to ask you to send me the link on that one, because I'm all in on that trip.
Like, man, I can't wait till we go back down there. You're going to give me that prime rib for under $40, and it looked delicious.
Yeah, I'm in on that. I just need that link.
They said the deals are great over there.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many great restaurants in that casino resort, and we do spend time there, the staff, and head over there for dinners on off days, and it's just a great place.
Well, congratulations on the second half start, and we appreciate the time, and we will be checking in on your Buffalo Bills. We'll be rooting for you guys, but we'll check in soon. You be well.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Chris.
The great Fran Riordan, leading his team once again. Yeah, I saw it. I get all this restaurant stuff, like I said, on Instagram. And because Red Rock Casino is right across from our ballpark. It was a surf and turf deal. I was like, wow. And they showed it. They got swank. So if you're a fan, you want to go down to Vegas, gamble a little bit, go see A's prospects, and right across the street, you got a casino. Summerlin.
You lost me on the surf and turf, but everything else sounds great.
Yeah. TPC Summerlin's a good golf course, too. Fran Riordan, the Buffalo Bills. You like the Bills this year?
Well, football started last night. I saw Patriots.
Football started August 3rd.
The Hall of Fame.
Cleveland and the New York.
Hey, Rays Jets are 0-1.
Jets are 0-1 with Aaron Rodgers. That's all I'm saying. You may say he didn't play. He was there on the sidelines. So I'm just saying, are you panicked?
I'm not panicked yet.
Well, I mean, how many Jets fans are Mets fans?
Oh, probably a lot.
You just saw you spent the most money in the history of baseball, and your team stinks.
Correct. Well,
and you had to punt the season.
Bills tomorrow, 10 a.m. against the Colts.
What?
10 a.m. Bills Colts.
Oh, preseason. My buddy Everett, who used to work for the Raiders, he's now for the Texans. They were in
New England
last night. He was sending me
big win for D'Amico Ryans.
So my buddy on the sidelines there, as part of their PR for the Texans, was he was sending me pictures of Gillette Stadium.
I was like, I'm ready for week one.
I do not miss the travel. People ask me that all the time. Like, I don't miss it.
Week one, Niners at Pittsburgh.
Dun 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 dun. Oh, these aren't your grandpa's Steelers.
Wow, shots fired to Kenny Pickett.
I'm just saying.
I'm excited to see T.J. Watt versus Nick. Oh wait, Nick Bosa's not on the field yet.
Bradshaw, Neil O'Donnell,
wow,
Roethlisberger. They're not.
Tommy Maddox,
Cordell Stewart are not walking through that door. I'm just saying.
Wow, no faith in. I think I'm more confident in the Steelers quarterback situation right now than I am with the 49ers and the four guys that they're trying to figure out who's going to be the starter.
Well, I mean, according to Kyle Shanahan, they're going to bring in Phillip Rivers.
I saw that. They went to the Super Bowl.
Smart, right? I mean, I need somebody who can take a snap,
But
and somewhere throw it somewhere.
Phillip Rivers never played in the Super Bowl. How funny is it? He comes out of retirement playing the Super Bowl
and
for the
win
49ers.
Can you imagine bringing an old quarterback off the street and win the Super? But
Chargers will burn his jersey. They would have burned his jersey. San Diego and Los Angeles Charger fans would have burned his jersey.
We mentioned the Mets, and did you mention the Padres?
I haven't, but now you have.
I
meant to San Diego Chargers.
Did you guys see Juan Soto's comments after the Seattle loss?
I read them.
I sent them to you. Oh my God. They've had, all right, you talk about everybody wants to spend all this money. So the Mets are already a total failure. Now the Padres have had not one, not two, not three, 4 players only meetings this year. Now, normally we wouldn't care, but we love Bob Melvin. But I've been telling you since the winter meetings, I told you this was going to be a train wreck. Every once in a while, I'd say I'm right. I told you it was going to be a train wreck. They've got $300 million contracts. They got all-stars. They got they're expected. How about that bogus crap that people in our game try and sell us? The expected. Hey, you know what? The Padres should be going for it at the deadline because their expected record, not their actual record, their expected record. Do we sell more unknown garbage in baseball than any other sport?
Yes, and by the way, their expected record is...
What's their expected record?
Currently, the Padres are 55-60. And
No, that doesn't count. What's their expected record?
63-52.
And people are going off of that. I'm like,
you know what that is,
Are you guys high?
It's mainly run differential is what they're looking at.
Your record is 55-60. They haven't had a 4-game winning streak this year. Juan Soto's calling out his own teammates about giving up, and he goes 1-16 in the series.
We got to play. Here's Juan Soto's comments. We've got to play as a team. We've got to go out there and grind every day, grind every at-bat. It's been really inconsistent. Some days we do, some days we don't. We got to do it every day. Days like this series, we just give up. Like literally, we just give up instead of keep grinding, keep pushing. We've got to forget about yesterday and keep moving. Soto, 1 for 16 with 5 strikeouts and no walks during the losing streak.
This is a team that is guaranteed over $800 million in contracts. $800 million. We have cities in this country going bankrupt. We've got countries that don't have money around the world. They've committed $800 million. If they sign Juan Soto or anybody else, they'll be over $1 billion in committed salary. And that's what you got? $800 million. Where's the World Series parade going to be? They're 55-60, 13 and a half games out. Unbelievable. And I'm wondering when we go to Nashville for the winter meetings, did anybody learn from this? Did anybody learn from Carlos Correa's contract? He signed with a third of the teams in baseball this past offseason. Anybody going to learn from the Mets, from the Padres, Xander Bogaerts? Is anybody going to learn from these? Like this is bad idea. Bad idea. How about the Yankees? I was looking at the Yankees.
How's your boy Rodon working out?
I was looking at the Yankees going into today. How about your Yankees? The Yankees win. The Yankees win. The Yankees have spent so much money. I told you they're like 500 for the last 200 and something games. It's something ridiculous.
Over the last 40, I think they're under 500.
I'm talking
like 8 games.
200. That's not a small sample size. You could say, a couple of weeks. I'm talking last 200 something games. They're essentially a 500 team, and they're spending all that money. Yankees, let's see. They're 1-7-3 in their last 1-7-3 in series in their last 34 games. They've won 1 series in their last 11.
Does it say who the series was?
All right. According to Fangraphs, the Yankees have just a 9.2% chance of making the postseason. Since the All-Star break, only the White Sox have a higher rate of their base hits being singles than the Yankees. They're not even hitting home runs anymore. They're terrible. I had it the other day. So it's probably around 204, 205, right around there. This is including playoffs. Their last like 204 or 205 games, they're flat out of 500. And they've spent how much money? They spend how much money on analytics? They spend how much money on development? They spend all this money on the players, and they're essentially they don't even know what they are. I talked to a scout recently. Can I be that guy? I talked to a scout recently who was dealing with the Yankees, and the Yankees guy, and he's a well-known guy, by the way, but I don't want to, because I would say, don't be mentioning names. But he basically said we're a beer league softball team. All we can do is hit some home runs, and that's it.
They better bring
basically essentially what the A's were. When we were all excited about 18, 19, once we got into the postseason, it's home run or bust. I was going back and looking at our 2020 team that actually won the division, and I know it was 60 games. You realize everybody was hitting 230, 240 on that team?
Yes.
But we hit home runs because it was a juice baseball. We were just built on home runs. That was it. 2021 till Marte showed up. It's just home runs.
Yankees 4th in the AL in home runs right now.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're in last place.
They're hitting 232 as a team. Where does that rank in?
But their bullpen's been the best in baseball. That's what's kept them alive, or been one of them. Their bullpen's kept them alive. So they are 59 and 56, or just above 500, but it's because of their bullpen.
Last place, though.
Yeah,
last place Yankees. They had the second worst batting average in the American League as a team.
What are their analytics? They have like this huge analytics department that they pay for. What are they doing with it?
Great question. I mean, you said about the beer league softball team. We should bring Luke Voigt back then. He's out there. He was mashing for AAA, the Mets AAA team in Syracuse. Now he's a free agent again.
You know who I've said is my favorite on MLB Network?
Dan O'Dowd.
And when it's trade deadline time, do you know who you go to I think he was on all day long. Right?
Yeah.
I think he was on all day long. And they put it on a graphic. And it was phenomenal. Talking about trade deadline deals. I even wrote it down, and I've been using it. The great Dan O'Dowd joins us here on A's Cast Live again. And Dan, I hope all is well. I hope all is good with the family and the new family business. And I got to tell you, I wrote down the thing that you put together, and it blew people's minds about the prospects at the trade deadline. How are you?
Chris, how are you? Good to hear you. Good to see you again, man. Thanks for having me on.
No, I tell people all the time, we love the ex-players. Ex-players are great. They give you great insight. But to me, when you have somebody that has the resume from Colorado to Cleveland, to all the things you've done in baseball and building teams and everything, I think it's so important that you're around, especially like the trade deadline, to add that perspective. You were on all day long. Every single time I kept going back, you were on. It was fabulous stuff. But that what you gave us with the prospects, how many guys don't make it, it is truly alarming, because all we sell at this time is the unknown prospect is better than the known.
Yeah, I think the key there is, Chris, for me, the point I was trying to get across is, like, we always talk about players that within the game that clubs want to acquire. You really just have to know your own players exceptionally well. And there's different lists of players within an organization. There's impact guys, there's contributors, there's value players. The impact guys, you should not trade unless you're getting back an impact player that you actually control for a while, or you're this close to being able to get into put yourself in a great position to go to the World Series. The rest of those guys, they're all in fair play. And yet as an industry, we hoard these prospects as if, they're gold. And if you just look at the past trading deadlines I did it from 2013 on, there's just not many of the players that are traded that end up being impact players at the big league level. So I thought it would just give a good perspective when we talk about all the young players that are traded, how many are actually going to make an impact for the team that's acquiring them.
It was great because they actually used it for a couple days. When Bob Costas the next day is putting up your graphic and then you go, hey, this thing's powerful. I wrote it down and I've been using it. And I just think about in your career, all the great players that you've been around, as we mentioned, all the different places that you've been. I mean, you've been around Hall of Famers. You've been around some of the greatest players. I mean, would you Would you do it differently if you were to do it all over again? How you dealt with prospects, star players, trading players? Would you do it differently?
Well, some of the markets that I was in, Chris, we didn't have a lot of budgetary flexibility. So prospects ended up playing such a huge role for us because we couldn't bottom fill with the free agent market in any way, shape, or form. And some of the ownership groups I was with weren't like uber aggressive at the trading deadline. They wanted the teams built for more sustainability. Like in Cleveland, the one thing Dick Jacobs, who's a wonderful owner to work for, what he said to John Hartman all the time, he goes, you guys do what you want to do, but I don't ever want to stink. So I'd love to win, but I don't want to win at all cost. And so we never really made that Randy Johnson trade or that trade that maybe could have got us over the hump because of the depth of talent that would have cost us. Because I thought we did a really good job in evaluating our own players, and so did other organizations for that matter too, and trying to acquire our players. And so all the ownership groups where I work for were always more about wanting to put the teams in a position each year to have a chance to play meaningful games in September, knowing October's a crapshoot. So a lot of the decisions you make as a GM, believe it or not, come from the overall direction of what the ownership group wants to do that you're involved with.
You know what it's like to be in a really tough situation as the leader.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're the leader of the franchise. You're the leader from the top to the bottom. David Force right now, with all the stuff going on that's out of his control. It's out of his control. And all the stuff, and Billy Beane had it. It's now been passed to David Force. Ballpark stuff, business stuff, all that. The front office has no control over that. Just tell us, from what you've dealt with and just kind of stepping in the shoes of David Force, how tough it is to have all the chaos around you and you have no control. You just can focus on what you can control, and that's the baseball.
Chris, that's really well said. I'm actually not even sure I can say it any better than that. The reality of it is sometimes you're just handed a deck of cards that the only thing you can do at that point in time is look down the road with every decision you make. The reality of it is as important as big league games are each and every night in David's world, because I lived that world in Cleveland from 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. I mean, we're losing between 95 and 100 games a year. And in Colorado after 2000, 2001, basically up to 2007, we were horrible. And so you just got to, the losses, even though you're going to lose, the losses still kill you. I mean, it's just, I can't tell you how miserable losing games are from a front office perspective. But you take solace in the fact, if you see progress of players that you've drafted and began to develop, starting to make meaningful strides in their player plan to be as good as they can be, that gives you hope. Now, what's really hard for David, which wasn't as hard for us, like in Cleveland, we knew Jacobs Field was getting, we saw the dirt being built. We knew it was going up. We knew how much more revenue that was going to mean to us. In Colorado, we had a beautiful venue, high attendance, even when we stunk. David just doesn't even know any of that. So as he tries to time the wave of the next opening in the A's window of opportunity to win, he doesn't even know when that is. And so I don't think I've ever been through something as difficult as what David is going through right now. And I hope he understands that he's got Galoff shows like he's a keeper. Butler comes up and starts to show some signs. Susak's had a really good year in high A. All of those things have to mean something to you now because you literally are fighting a losing battle night in and night out at the big league level.
I know you were asked a ton about Shohei Ohtani will stay in division, about whether to trade him or not. Obviously, they made the decision not to trade him. Now you're going to get asked about how do you sign him? How do you go about that? And recently, we've noticed cramps in his legs, in his hands. Obviously, it's a skill set we've never seen before. I don't call him the greatest player. I just say it's the greatest skill set we have ever seen. He could be one of the all-time greats, but you'd need longevity. But it's a skill set like no other. But now, as a general manager, you have to think about that. If I'm going 10 years or whatever, and he's in his prime, and we're now dealing with cramps and dealing with fatigue, how do you factor in as a general manager, whether you're keeping him with the Angels or you're someone like the Dodgers, how do you factor this in? Does it scare you?
Oh, it does. I mean, this is the most complicated contract. I think that we could actually say in the history of the game to try to actually put a valuation number on it. I will say, Chris, I think he means more to the Angels than any other team in the game. I think they know from a measurable standpoint exactly what their ROI is on Shohei Ohtani. Any other market does not know that. They know like how much this guy actually means from a revenue standpoint and what he does to that for that franchise. And so once they made a decision not to trade him, I can't believe they can let him go. Now, he may have already made his mind up. He's going to leave. But once you made that decision to not acquire any talent for him at all, you almost are in a position where you got to do everything humanly possible to convince him to stay, including money. Saying that, I don't think you can value this contract moving forward that it's a 10-year deal, I don't think he's going to be a starting pitcher for 10 years in the future. I just don't. You already see some physical wear and tear. He's a tired young man right now trying to do what he's trying to do. And fatigue leads to injury at some point in time. I said this early on. I'll say it again. I eventually seen him to be a John Schmaltz, where he'll be an everyday position player. He'd be your back end closer because it's less wear and tear in that role than any other role in the game. But I just can't see how physically he could hold up trying to do both at the elite level that he currently does. I mean, it's just incredible how talented of an athlete this young man is. But if someone pays him to be an ace of your rotation and an impact MVP type position player at some point in time, I don't think you're going to get a return on that investment whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about the winter meetings and the off season. And when I run into you in Nashville, I'm going to ask you the same question. We look at the disaster that's the New York Mets, what happened with them. We look at the San Diego Padres, the amount of money they have committed, that continues to be, and there's some rumblings that there could be some financial troubles for ownership down the way. Will this year, looking at the Padres, looking at the Mets, looking at all the shortstops that signed for that money, and I'm not sure people are happy with those contracts, will people look around and go, man, that was all a bad idea, let's not do that again, or will we fall into the same trap come this winter?
I think last winter was unique. I mean, if you think about it, we went through a pandemic, which dramatically affected our game, affecting the entire country and every person in it. And then we got our game back on the right footing. And then it was an unbelievable group of talented players on the market. And so I think last year was an anomaly in the sense that there was money in the game and the ownership group decided to spend it on elite players. You're going to have to wait to see if those contracts are good or bad. It's hard to evaluate on a one-year basis. You got to look at that in the aggregate at some point in time. But Chris, I definitely think it's going to pause teams to think about making that kind of commitment again. And I think it's going to pause. You can't build super teams in baseball. You can't do what the NBA does because it takes 40 players, 26 that are on your roster, and they all have to kind of mesh together. It's not, like I say this all the time, I hope this makes sense to you, is it about the 9 best or the best 9? Because the Padres are an example of the 9 best. I mean, oh my gosh, they're one of the more talented teams in the game. But when you watch them play, they don't fit together as a team that's playing something bigger than the person they're lockering next to. And I think great teams have the ability to do that. And I think it's just the same thing I said when this took place, when it happened. Don't think you can buy a championship. I think, if you just take a step back with the Padres, what was wrong with Cronenworth and Kim? Kim's having an MVP year that no one even talks about.
Yeah.
And just say, okay, that's our shortstop and second baseman. That's the group we're going to build around. We've got Tatis coming down. Let's add to the bottom of our rotation. Let's add to the middle of our bullpen. But man, we got a really pretty good core here to move forward with. I think there's just a danger all the time of trying to squeeze another player in, thinking that's going to get over the hump, when what's going to get over the hump is how the team plays together. And your culture creates this environment where there's an intolerance for anything that gets in the way of losing. And when you see Soto's comment coming out of that Seattle thing, there's nobody that's in the way of losing. No one's standing up and saying, hey, this is unacceptable. When you watch them play, there's no sense of urgency. And I just feel like people will actually look at that more this winter and pause more than even the individual money spent on contracts.
You can get this kind of insight you're going to have MLB tonight coming up. It's going to be 3 p.m. Pacific, our time. Dan is going to be on. Let's end on this. I know you've created a great company with your son that can benefit hitters, players, whether we're talking baseball, softball. We got a lot of parents that watch the show. Talk about how's the company going with your son?
It's going great, Chris. I mean, like any other company, we certainly have our challenges as a startup. But the difference we're making in kids, baseball, bridging the gap between their potential and performance, it's just been so gratifying. And, in our system now, like any software company, we're developing it to the point now you can hit within our system that the newest thing that we've run out, I've done with my youngest son who plays at the University of Texas. It's called Live Pitch. So you can you download it into your phone, and then your son or your daughter is in the Oculus Quest 2 or soon to be Quest 3 headset. I then am the pitcher. So I can sequence my son while he is now hitting live on the field. So I can go fastball away, slider in, fastball up. So whatever I feel like he needs to work on in both his pitch recognition and his bat to ball ability, I am sitting in a chair while he's performing, and I'm competing with him in that bats and situations. I mean, it is so interactive. It's so emotionally cool. And I just feel like it's like a game changer that's never been done before. And I think we just keep making more progress and more progress and more progress. And I hope everybody realizes how much better they can get. He saw 77 pitches the other night in 25 minutes, and he only needed to probably see 50 in 15 minutes to get better doing it. And that's what makes it really cool, Chris.
Yeah, the next wave, because we can do biomechanics, we do it in all sports, what the human body can do. The one thing that really is, we can look at all the data and analytics and all that kind of stuff. I guess I try and stay in my lane, but it's neuroscience. It's the study of the brain and how do we eyesight in your brain. And
that's all we're doing, Chris.
Right?
What hitting is about. Hitting is about the ability to map your brain to recognize pitches as soon as you possibly can so you consistently be on time. Certainly you have to have a good swing. You have to, your ability to take the bat to the ball in the correct biomechanical way is so important, but it all starts with your ability to see the ball out of the hand as you have milliseconds to make a decision. So why Major League hitters are so good is because they've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of pitches. And all that does is every pitch that you see maps your cortex to recognize that's a skill that you're getting good at. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. The whole foundation of our company is simply off of that, is the understanding that the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And the more you can do it in a competitive, real life way, the better you'll get at it too.
Is there a website people can look at?
winreality.com. I encourage everybody to go on and take a peek at it.
Well, we'll promote it. Hey, it's always an honor to have you on the program. We're always
Thanks,
smarter.
Chris.
We're smarter when you come on the program.
That's humbling, but you do a pretty good job yourself. And hey, don't sleep on the Giants this year. They're the antithesis of the San Diego Padres. The sum of their parts are way better than their individual parts.
Do you worry about their lack of innings pitched by starters?
Certainly. I worry about their lack of offense over the last month of the season. But I'll tell you what, they've got the third best starting ERA in the National League. They got the second best bullpen ERA in the National League. They have a winning environment, and they never panic as an organization. And I don't know how good enough they are to run deep into October, but I think they're going to get in October. And when Harrison gets up there, they legitimately have 3 good starting pitchers.
Have a great show today, and let's
Thanks,
talk.
Chris. Okay, buddy. Good to talk to you. Bye-bye.
The great Dan O'Dowd join us here on A's Cast Live. I love talking to that guy, man, because you got to remember he was there when they built that Cleveland Indian team that played in multiple World Series, had so much talent, should have won one. They didn't, and then he takes the job at Colorado, which was such a challenge, and they tried multiple ways to get it done. And he got him to the World Series, which is still, think about that. The Colorado Rockies have been to the World Series. I mean, how challenging that is to try and build a pitching staff a mile high up. And you got to build a team that can compete at sea level for the other 81 games.
What's incredible is they made it to the World Series and they've never won their division.
Yeah. It's hard. It really, really, really is hard. And he found a way. And when you listen to him on all these different shows that he goes on, you understand, like, he's the one, like, ex-players. And the ex-players are great on MLB Network. And maybe we watch, I mean, I know it doesn't get great ratings, so maybe it's guys like me that watch it and the rest of you have lives and you're doing Netflix or whatever you're doing, which I'm fired up for Johnny Football on Netflix. Finally something's since Narcos that will excite me.
Narcos is a great
Everybody tried to get me to I haven't watched the PGA Tour thing, but no, Johnny Football. You know how much I love college football. Johnny Football was awesome.
Well, not that
Johnny Football beating Alabama. Come on.
Do you have HBO Max, or now it's just Max, or HBO? Do
I
you
got
have
everything.
Well, if you want, you should watch
I watch MLB Network.
You should watch Winning Time about the Lakers dynasty rise in the 80s. It's good.
Enough about magic.
Watch Quarterback on there too on Netflix. They follow Mahomes, Cousins, and Marcus Mariota.
These soft modern day quarterbacks.
Hey, I read that your
Johnny Unitas broke his nose, took dirt, stuffed it in his nose to stop the bleeding, and kept playing. Is that in there?
No.
No.
Just like how
I don't want to see Mahomes in his bubble bath making commercials.
Bieniemy apparently too intense at Commanders practice.
By the way, Patrick Mahomes does stuff on a football field I've never seen before. I've been on the field, and TV doesn't do it justice. When you're on the sidelines and you watch Mahomes play, he plays at a pace and does things, and he's throwing and running. Mahomes is incredible.
No look passes.
Mahomes is a Hall of Famer. If anybody hates on Patrick Mahomes, you tell them you have no effing idea what you're talking about. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback.
Do you think he will finish?
Can anybody even come down his road? I know some people have. It's unbelievable. It's like, you don't understand how unbelievably hard this guy is to defend. He is strong. He's got a rocket arm. He's got mobility for days. He can run. He's a son of a professional athlete. He grew up shagging balls at Yankee Stadium. Nothing phases him. Patrick Mahomes is badass.
I think the only thing Patrick Mahomes hasn't done in his career.
What? Win?
He hasn't won a road playoff game.
Oh.
Never had to play one.
Let me ask you a question.
Never had to play one.
Let me ask you a question, because I've gone down this road. You think Joe Montana and Steve Young won a lot of road playoff games?
No, but I'm saying it's because they never had to play.
Colin Kaepernick has more road playoff games than Joe Montana and Steve Young combined. Where's that for your 49er knowledge, 49er fan? Colin Kaepernick has won more playoff games on the road than Montana and Young combined.
Yeah, that's because
they always played at home.
Yeah, they always played at home.
So you're going to hate on Patrick Mahomes for always? You got to go to you want to beat the man? You got to go to the man's house, Arrowhead Stadium, which is an awesome place.
Well, the only guy to do it most recently was Joe Burrow.
Once.
Not last.
When the Raider buses pulled up to Arrowhead, they threw stuff at the buses, flipping. It was great.
Were you with the team whenever they circled the?
No, that was 2 years after. That was after COVID.
Oh, so it was in Vegas. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if I couldn't remember when that was.
Well, there's the story John Gruden did it his first time around in Kansas City when he first coached the team. I was never there. The Raider teams I always covered were never good enough to win in Kansas City. Had no chance to win in Kansas City. That's why they say. That's why they don't want employees betting, because we know the teams are like, even the gamblers knew. But it's like, man, if you could be betting, I'd be on the sidelines betting everything I own. There's no chance. No chance we're winning this half, the second half, the overall game. You ain't winning.
You're better off to some prop bets.
Oh, my God. Chiefs would come out, and you're like, score. Score. And Derek Carr's dumping off to the running back. How are you going to beat Patrick Mahomes with Derek Carr dumping off to the running back?
Who was the quarterback from will Connor Cook throw an interception in the second half?
Connor Cook. God, come on. Out of
Michigan State. Best quarterback to come out of there since.
Where is Connor Cook?
Kirk Cousins. He was playing in was it the XFL?
I actually drank beers with Connor Cook when he was a Bengal. So the Raiders, we were down in Cincinnati. That's one place I never need to go back.
The Natty.
And we were in the Natty, and Connor Cook met us out.
Skyline Chili.
And I was drinking beers with Connor Cook in the Natty the night before the game. Well, he wasn't going to play.
You know, I would always want to drink a beer with Matt McGloin.
The wee McGloin.
Yeah, the great Penn State quarterback, the walk-on.
McGloin was a good kid. Nice kid. Hey, Derek Allen and Derek Carr back together, huh? They're going to get that band going.
Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen. I used to do the Dennis Allen show on 95.7 The Game.
Sure, he was a riveting interview.
Oh, each week, Coach Allen's coming on. Woo!
Now you got Jimmy.
Jimmy G. Well, at least you got a quarterback, because when you have, they always say when you have two quarterbacks, you don't have what?
You don't have one.
What happens when you have four?
You might have one. Raiders Niners this weekend, by the way. So,
well, how's the joint practice going?
Apparently, there's been no fights. Apparently, I heard Brock Purdy threw a pick in practice today.
Where is it? Is it here or in Vegas?
It's in Vegas.
Indoors, right?
I would hope so. Yeah, Fran had a sweatshirt on. I saw the hood. I'm like, what is he doing?
I mean, I remember way back when Nebraska came out to play Arizona State. I don't remember what year that was. It was nationally ranked, all that kind of stuff. And the Nebraska guys coming to Arizona, they were dropping like flies on the sidelines. Because you just can't. If you're not used to it, I don't think you even get used to it. But you just can't go play football and play, hey, it's 110. You just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I was. By the way,
don't give me the passing stats.
I love when Matt Mayoko and the Niner writers put out
great Matt Mayoko,
NBC Sports Bay Area, when they put out the quarterback updates. Brock Purdy today, 11-11 off the first team, 39 passing attempts, or no, anyway, passing 15 of 26 with a pick. Trey Lance took 5 reps, 1 of 2. Sam Darnold, 3 of 3. I found the guy.
Where was I yesterday?
I don't know. It was the off day.
I was downtown Willow Glen in San Jose, and I saw a guy in a Jets Sam Darnold jersey. I guess, he's doing the Niner thing, but he's wearing everybody wants to be unique.
By the way, New York Jet Ray messaged me and said, we're fine. Nothing to worry about. All gas, no break with the Jets.
0-1. I can only go with your record. I don't know what your expected record is. Who can we go down their road and tell them they're full of garbage with this expected stuff?
Hembo.
Dan Zimborski.
Hembo.
Does Hembo use expected?
Probably.
No, I don't.
Eno?
Dan Zimborski does that.
Yeah, we can ask Eno because he knows all about it.
It's garbage. It's literally garbage. Has anybody... There's always outliers, but there can't be too many people that ever got to their expected.
Okay, so here, give me an example. We're 33 and 82.
Christian Pache was never going to get to his expected batting average.
No. We're 33 and 82. What do you think our expected win-loss record is?
Oh, wow. Wow. We're 33 and 82. Is it that bad?
Yeah.
I can't even look at it. It's so hard to look at. It's hard to believe we're 33 and 82.
But the answer is our expected.
I can't even imagine.
Our expected win-loss is 32 and 83. So they're going to take away one extra win and give us an extra.
Wait, we're expected to only win 32 games?
Well, it's basing off what our expected win-loss record should be right now.
32 and 83, and we're 33 and 82.
Yeah.
All right, we're living the dream.
I think how many games left? There's 47 games left. Can we win 11?
There's 47 games.
Can we win 11? If you win 11,
oh my God.
If you win 11, you do not finish 43 and 119 like Detroit did, and you get past that narrative. 11 wins.
How many games left?
47.
Wow. Lawrence Butler's here. See, that gets me fired up.
You want
LB?
You want to?
Do we call him LB? Magic Johnson always called Larry Bird LB. Do we call him LB? What's up, LB?
Well, he did for what was the thing he phrased in New Oakland? All these guys coming up.
LB in New Oakland.
Where's what's Seth Brown's expected batting average? I just pulled a random player, not random, but it just pulled a guy from our team.
340.
Seth Brown's expected batting average against fastballs, he's hitting 268. His expected batting average, 255. It's actually supposed to be worse. Against breaking balls, he's hitting 203. He's expected 231.
Oh, God.
Wait, I mean, should we do Geloff? I mean, he's our new
Geloff expected batting average. Oh, well, what is he hitting right now? He's hitting just under 300, right?
250.
He's hitting 250.
But he's an 875 OPS.
Oh, it was like the last 10 games he's hitting 297 or something.
Oh, here it is. Zach Gallup's expected batting average his batting average against fastballs, 306. Expected 295.
What is he struggling in? What's Zach Geloff struggling against?
Off speed.
Which ones?
It just says off speed.
It doesn't say breaking balls.
No, it says breaking balls and off speed.
All right, so which one? Or is he both?
Against breaking balls, he's hitting 174. Against off speed, he's hitting 167. Expected though, off speed 265. Balls aren't falling for hits.
Wait a minute, are you saying 100 points?
But that Baseball Savant does not lie.
100 points.
I mean, I don't need a PhD to tell you what I'm reading on the internet.
100 points better.
Oh, here, expected batting average for the season should be 242. He's at 250.
Well, Mark Kotsay coming up here is going to say something that is important. And I think for a lot of these guys, it's to play and finish the season here. There's something about it. To us fans, it means nothing. I get it. But to the players, to finish the season and get past the finish line. Because these young guys have never played at such a competitive level, and more importantly, they've never played this long. So you kind of get an idea of this journey. You know, you talk about a half marathon versus a marathon, knowing you haven't run either.
Yes.
So I really can't go to you and say, what's the difference between a half marathon and a marathon?
How many people do you know that actually run a half marathon or a marathon?
Not a lot. I know a few. I've had people try, how you want to do it? I'm like, no.
We have an old colleague that's been doing them, but I'm not going to reach out.
I did a couple 5Ks. I got talked into these 5Ks. Miserable. 3-something miles. Miserable. No, but the run, you know what? Runner's high doesn't show up for me. Never has.
No, I get that after I'm done playing basketball, though. Feels good to have all that back and forth running. It's not running miles, but it's good.
They say you get into this runner's high. I've been high, but I've never been on the runner's high. And all I think about the whole time is, when is this going to be over?
That's, we haven't done this well. That's a drop.
Or you give me the Scott Emerson. The data doesn't lie.
Yeah. My favorite of his is Rome wasn't built in a day.
These guys and their cliches, it's unbelievable. Scott Emerson's, they just roll off the tongue.
I got to go back and find.
He's a baseball player.
I got to get Kotsay saying that, or I got to go back and get Tori saying it.
He's a professional baseball player.
We've got to ask Dan. We've got to ask Dan and Fran.
I wasn't going to waste Fran Riordan's time. Do you have players or professional players?
You know what? Ask a professional player. Ask Sean Doolittle.
Are you a professional player or a player?
Yeah. Do which one are you?
Like, how do you go after a hitter, whether he's a professional hitter or a hitter? Does it
say in your scouting report? Does it say in your scouting report, Matt Olson, professional hitter? Then you go to another Brave, just hitter.
I don't want to blow up LB too much, but I think we should be excited. I think we should be. And I asked Fran Riordan, when's the last time we had an athlete like this? I haven't. In a long time. During Mark Kotsay, I'm going to text the great David Feldman, our ace historian. And when's the last time we had a guy that came up, drafted, developed, and came up through the A's system? Are you going to go all the way back to Jose Canseco?
Oh, that's what I was thinking of, honestly.
That was a long time ago. What year did Jose, what was Rookie of the Year in 86? 80.
It was in 88.
80.
When he went 40-40?
No, 80. He went 40-48. No, he was MVP. He was Rookie of the Year. 86. That's a long time ago. Where were you in 86?
I wasn't even born yet.
Is it 85? I'm going to say 86.
Jose's rookie of the year in 86. Yeah.
86.
33 and 117. 33 homers, 170. That's a lot of. That's high.
What did they list Jose as? So Butler's 6'3", 210.
Jose 6'4", 240.
Jose Canseco's built like Junior Seau.
It's fair.
He's built. Oh, we didn't get into our Giants question. We kind of.
So we still have time.
He's built like Ray Lewis. How big was Ray Lewis? Ray Lewis probably wasn't 6'4".
No, real quick. This is a quote. Apparently, when Lawrence got called up, Lawrence Butler says he found out in AAA when AAA manager Fran Riordan brought him in, told him you can't chirp at umpires at second base after his double. They won't put up with that in the major leagues because that's where you're going now. Butler was thrilled, ready to go tonight in major league debut. So that's what one of the quotes was.
You can't do that garbage in the big leagues. Have fun.
What did you want to know? How big's Ray Lewis?
How big was Ray Lewis?
NFL Hall of Famer.
Because I've stood next to Ray Lewis, and he's not that tall.
Says he weighs 250. 6'1". 6'1", 240, according to Pro Football Reference.
6'3", 6'4" is a good size for a baseball player. Most baseball players, people don't realize, taller you get, the longer your limbs are, longer the swing.
Lawrence Butler, between both levels, 15 homers, 70 RBI, and 21 stolen bases in 89 games.
All right, Mark Kotsay, the manager of your Oakland Athletics. We want to play it now, or you want to pay some bills?
Let's play some bills first.
All right, coming up next, Mark Kotsay for the Mark Kotsay Show. We will talk about LB, Lawrence Butler. We'll go through all the young guys because I can tell you, I got you on my A's pad right here. I just wrote down names. We're going to go down the line. What's going on with Mason Miller? What's going on with Ryan Noda? What's going on with Sodi, Geloff? All the young guys. No old guys. No old guys. Young guys. Nothing but young guys. Mark Kotsay next. And I'll text Dave Feldman. When's the last time? Can't say Ben Grieve.
Damn it, I was just going to say Ben Grieve.
But Ben Grieve's not winning any race.
No.
This is an athlete. This is a man that's 6'3" and can run.
Okay, I can't say the guy I was going to say because he's didn't draft and develop him.
Who?
They just signed him.
Who?
Yo.
Doesn't count.
That's what I said. He was the guy I was thinking of. He's an outfielder.
The Cuban national team raised Yo.
But he was a thoroughbred in the outfield.
He was a thoroughbred. Didn't I would say catching the ball wasn't his strength.
Okay. All right.
And judgment.
Tex Feldman will.
Because if you guys all remember, Yoenis Cespedes was going to be a center fielder. Everybody remember that? Center fielder. He's a center fielder. Kind of like when I talk about Ruiz being in center field. Oh, you're going to teach him to play center field. And all of a sudden he goes out to center field and you realize this guy can't play center. So what'd you do? You moved him and left. Some of his greatest throws. Yoenis Cespedes made incredible throws and they were in Anaheim. And each time it was off bad judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But he gunned people down.
Who was it he threw? Was it Kai Aspo he threw out at home?
I don't remember.
I think it was
the throw down. It was just... It's like Bo Jackson like.
Was it a Kai Espo and A for at one point? Yeah. I think it was Kai Espo who he threw out at home.
Yoenis Cespedes was a total thoroughbred.
Just wasn't drafted and developed by the A's. Just signed.
Correct. We will find out the answer and Mark Kotsay next right here on A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend and Commander Cody for Link Soul. The new summer colors and prints are in stock. The new polos, lightweight, all the colors you want. Fabulous. We got our new order.
My wife is so happy that I'm dressing so much better. All thanks to Link Soul.
You name it, whether it's polos, whether it's shorts, anything for your summer needs, you need to revamp your wardrobe. You go to linksoul.com and they got great summer deals. Go to linksoul.com. That's linksoul.com.
If you're looking for a new mattress, Nest Bedding has you covered. Sleep on the same mattress Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson sleeps on. Nest Bedding is the #1 brand of online mattresses and the Bay Area's favorite mattress store. Take home the Easy Breather pillow. The New York Times calls it their #1 pick. You can navigate their easy-to-use website, nestbedding.com. That's nestbedding.com. Green and Gold fans, use the coupon code Oakland and you get 10% off your entire order. Nest Bedding, love where you sleep.
Need some new summer swag? We've got your style covered. Get to the game early before we take on the Baltimore Orioles on Sunday, August 20th, and leave with your very own reversible A's t-shirt hoodie presented by Cal State East Bay.
Hit hard toward right field, has some carry. Back is Tucker taking a look at the wall, and it goes for Zach Geloff. How about that? Geloff drives it the other way.
Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets. That's athletics.com/tickets. This is the way to see your favorite Star Wars characters take flight. Get your tickets for a one-of-a-kind Star Wars-themed drone show presented by Chevron Texaco Rewards on Saturday, August 19th. May the Force be with you as you head out to the ballpark for this matchup against the Baltimore Orioles, followed by a dazzling post-game light show in a galaxy not so far away. You won't want to miss this. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/drone shows. That's athletics.com/drone shows.
Chevron with Techron has unbeatable engine cleaning power, and it gives you unbeatable mileage for all kinds of unbeatable destinations, like time in the sun at the beach, or time in the sun riding roller coasters, or a day in the sun hiking mountains. Well, probably just one mountain would be enough for a day, but hiking a mountain is still an unbeatable choice for how to spend time. Download the Chevron app now to get unbeatable mileage at locations near you.
If you're looking for a great place to eat and watch games, go see our friends at the Chicken Pie Shop of Walnut Creek. The Chicken Pie Shop is one of the hottest restaurants in Walnut Creek. You're not going to find a better menu, and come try their world-famous chicken pie that has been served in Southern California for 86 years. Spacious indoor and outdoor dining, perfect for your next private party or corporate event. Don't forget free parking. For more information, go to chickenpieshopwc.com. That's chickenpieshopwc.com.
Summertime is golf time in the Bay Area, and that means it's time to enjoy the beautiful vistas, 27 holes of championship golf, and all the amenities that Cinnabar Hills Golf Club has to offer. Cinnabar Hills gives you a variety on the course and in their amazing grill. They're ready to give you an incredible experience for any family, business, or social gathering. Nestled in the quiet hills of San Jose, summertime fun awaits you at Cinnabar Hills Golf Club. Learn more at cinnabarhills.com. That's cinnabarhills.com.
Streaming from the East Bay, A's Cast Live continues with Chris Townsend.
Show right here on A's Cast Live and A's Cast, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Love where you sleep. Check out their locations in the Bay Area, or you go online to nestbedding.com for your mattress, your pillows, your sheets, all your bedding needs. You go to nestbedding.com. In our nation's capital, Mark Kotsay, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tony. Appreciate it. Beautiful Friday. It's a little humid here, but, another great day in the ballpark.
I know it's been a long season, so if you have a day off, I understand if people just want to rest, hang out, maybe get a workout in. But a great place to have a day off, D.C., one of the great sightseeing places in our country. Did any of the guys get a chance to go out and experience the Capitol or to see anything in D.C.?
Yeah, our hotel's not far from the mall here. A lot of guys took that experience. They jumped on Lime scooters and bikes and rode around and took in, obviously these great sights and the history here in the Capitol. And, I know Mike McCarthy, one of our pitching coaches, went out last night. He got back and ran into me outside the hotel, had gone down to the Lincoln Memorial and just said, Cots, it's just time for reflection. So really cool opportunity here in Washington, D.C. to take the sights in and appreciate the history of our great country.
Yeah, you try and tell everybody. All the Smithsonian's are free. Most everything is free. So if you ever get a chance, go to D.C. and experience it and learn about your country. It is truly breathtaking in so many ways. And the Lincoln Memorial at night, wow, it's breathtaking. All right, let's get into some baseball because all the A's fans are fired up. You saw him in spring training. He started in spring training, and Lawrence Butler is finally here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an exciting weekend for us as a franchise to be able to promote another young player in our system, a kid that was a high school draft that's worked really hard over the last 5 seasons to develop his game, to be able to get to this level. In spring training, he had an energy about him that was great. And like you said, he had a great camp. He left an impression on me, similar to, I think, if I reflect back on my career, what I was able to do in my first big league spring training with Jim Leland as the manager. And here he is. He's very well welcomed, and he's going to be able to go out and show us that he's a big league baseball player today.
Give me a scattering report what you've seen on him.
He's cut his strikeouts down. His walk rate's back up a little bit. He's definitely a dynamic player. He's got the tools that it takes. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark. He can take a good grinding at bat. Defensively, he's got speed. And that plays on the bases as well. And his arm plays in the outfield also. So, again, like I said, these young players that are coming here, it may take them time to get their feet on the ground. But we're giving them that opportunity right now to go establish themselves and show us that they can be a part of our future.
It's one thing when you have guys that were in all these different trades and they come in and then they get brought up. I know you've spent a lot of time, more than probably any manager I've ever seen, talking to the minor leaguers and making sure you connect with them, making sure that you know them. What does it mean to the organization? What does it mean to you when you're bringing up these kids, and you're bringing up kids that the team actually drafted and developed?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great sign. And that's a sign of progress for us as an organization. We went through this phase with Chapman, in his time here. And now we're seeing it with the Soderstrom, the Geloff, the Butler, Mason Miller, like you said, guys of our recent drafts that are starting to get here and hopefully make an impact.
You mentioned Geloff. I mean, the start so far, unbelievable. Fastest to 6 home runs. We've seen foul pole to foul pole power. The ability to make contact, go the other way consistently. He's a decent-sized kid, playing second base with speed. You're watching him every day. Just, is there a comp for you, and what do you see in Zach Geloff?
Oh, that's a great question, Tony. I haven't really thought about a comp in a player for Zach, so kind of caught me off guard with that question. But what do I see for Zach Geloff? I see, a player that, like you said, has a knack for the barrel, really. And the swing, it's a different swing, but he's able to manipulate the barrel, which a lot of young hitters can't do right now. And what I mean by that is get to every ball, even though it's not a one-plane swing, though it looks like it. He's still able to get the barrel to a ball up and in right now or down and away. And like you said, he's got oppo power, which is great. Any young player that can dominate the opposite field gap is going to have long-term success here, in my opinion. I watched Miguel Cabrera do it when he was, 16 or 18 years old, taking batting practice and really dominating the opposite field gap. And that's really what it takes to be successful at this level.
Yeah, everybody, I mean, he's been around so long. Everybody forgets about Skinny Miggy back in the day with the Marlins.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I was there for his first professional batting practice, that pro player. And I was on the team. I never forget. He walked out and I think he was 16. Maybe he was 17.
I don't think he was 18 yet.
I don't believe he was. And this kid gets in the batting cage, and the first 5 balls are line drives to right center. And I just remember looking at Derek Lee and going, how old is this kid? And it was real. And obviously it was real because he's a Hall of Famer. And that's kind of, the messaging, for young players is, learn how to dominate the opposite field and pull power will happen. So.
And we just don't see that. I mean, it's like Chris Davis had that. Mike Piazza had that. Guys that have power and go the other way. We're just so used to all right-handed hitters just trying to hook everything and pull everything. I think about you as a hitter. You could go to all fields, but there's something about young right-handers. That's why Geloff is so impressive, because we don't see a lot of young right-handed hitters in modern-day baseball who have the ability just to consistently go to the right side.
Yeah, I mean, from day one, you saw the first hit that he had in the A's uniform was a ball that should have been a homer. It hit off the very tip of the top of the wall, right, and it was to the opposite field gap. So again, that's the direction that this kid, was able to accomplish and through the minor leagues and probably through his career. Just being able to hit the ball in the barrel is consistently is going to lead to success.
What have you seen so far with Tyler Soderstrom?
Tyler, I mean, Tyler's again, and I mentioned this, I think the very first time we talked about, Tyler coming here and the, pressure that was going to be on him as a 21-year-old prospect and a player that's been talked about so highly in our system, not just, amongst us as Oakland A's, or as an organization, but more national too. And, the job he has to do with catching, playing first, those in itself demand a lot of time, a lot of attention. And so then you have the hitting part. And from that standpoint, I knew Tyler, I think we talked about him being an aggressive hitter and a free swinger. And that's something we like about him. And that it was going to take time for him to, at this level, really hone in on the zone and eliminate some swing and miss that was there in the minor leagues. So I think that's what we're seeing. I don't feel like Tyler's lost confidence. I think Tyler understands that this is a level where your talent just doesn't allow you to have success. You've got to put a lot of work in and a lot of time studying and making the adjustments. And I think Tyler's capable of doing that.
Yeah, you did it, but you did it after an illustrious college career, man. You're the Golden Spikes Player of the Year. You've won the College World Series. He's doing it at a high school. So do you ever put your arm around him, talk to him about it? Because you've been there, done that. You know what it's like to come up and all of a sudden, what'd you say? Your first game was Kurt Schilling. I mean, all of a sudden you're facing some of the best guys in the big leagues, and you're probably not going to have great success early, especially when you're 21.
Yeah, Tyler and I had a conversation after this last homestand. We sat down and discussed a lot of things from, just making the adjustments to understanding that it takes time. Anytime you get called up, you want to have immediate success. And if it doesn't happen, then you're chasing that. But as opposed to chasing it, just stay with the processes really and continue to work hard and continue to, not allow the offensive side to impact what you can control, which is the defensive side and your effort level. And, so we've engaged in some conversations for sure, and we'll continue to do that.
Ryan Noda, I miss him. I understand it's the jaw it's very sensitive and you have to be very careful because it could get worse if he gets hit the wrong way. Do you think there's a chance we will see him, or do you think that it might be just better for the club to say we'll see you next year?
No, there's a definite chance that we're going to see him. And in that statement too, Townie, one of the things that I tell players is how important it is to just finish a season, whether it's even for the last 7 days. If you can get yourself to a point where you're confident and comfortable coming back from whatever injury that is, that it's great. It's a great feeling just to finish the season. And I think that that's the goal for Ryan. Right now, we sent him to Arizona with Mason Miller. They'll be there this weekend. Ryan has engaged in some live BP off Mason already. He'll do it again on Saturday with Mason throwing. So both of those young players, I think it's realistic to say that they'll be back to finish our season.
Yeah, up in our A's Cast booth, we got to watch that. I'm thinking, wait a minute, I haven't been hitting, and you're going to give me the treat of, hey, go face Mason Miller and get some at bats. That's it. That didn't seem like any day at the beach.
Yeah, it wasn't. And maybe, for Ryan, I mean, the trust with Mason's command and how he throws the baseball is probably more important. But, it was fun to see those two compete a little bit, and I'm sure they'll get after it on Saturday in Arizona as well.
What are the expectations for Mason Miller from here on out?
We're going to just build him slowly. And I think, we'll do the live BP on Saturday, see how it goes. If it comes out of that well, we may take him into competition at that point and ease him back slowly. But I think the goal, Townie, is to have him throw with us at some point in September.
Yeah, that's another one you talk about, just finishing out People will be excited about that. Just to see him again, know that he's healthy. Let's end on this. It's a National League road trip. It's going to be hot and sticky in D.C. You know it's going to be hot and sticky in St. Louis. But I think for the most part, what you've seen, your pitching is getting better.
Yeah, and the data behind it, the stats behind it will show that. We've made improvements, and we're going to continue to work hard. You know, our pitching coaches are relentless in the amount of time and effort, energy they put into this process. They've made a lot of adjustments since April, not just with how we work and how we game plan and how we attack just teaching, really. And I think it's showing itself in the success that we're having. And it all starts on the mound, Townie. We talked about it early in spring training together. And now we're still talking about it in August. And we know, like we did, you know, on Wednesday afternoon against a really talented Texas team, pitching won the game. And, you know, pitching and defense are really important at this level. They lead to championships. And, you know, I think that's our focus. And we're going to continue to grind on that side of it and identify these young pitchers that are on the mounds that you know, we feel confident about going forward with.
Great stuff. As always, enjoy D.C. and St. Louis, because St. Louis, obviously, as you know, is a great place to play. And I think all these experiences for the young guys, whether it's Dodger Stadium, playing in Coors Field, playing against the Giants with packed houses, it's all great for these young guys to experience, and then we'll see you back home. So good luck during this road trip, and we'll talk to you back at the Coliseum.
Sounds great. Thanks, Tyler.
It's the Mark Kotsay Show, brought to you by Nest Bedding. Go to their location in the Bay Area or check them online, nestbedding.com, for your mattress, your sheets, your pillows, all your bedding needs. You go to nestbedding.com. The skipper, Mark Kotsay, right here every single week. This is where you get him. And, you know, pitching, right? I mean, we found out that Blackburn, basically teams were going to call, or teams did call, and the A's went, no. So Blackburn is somebody going today. Paulie B, you call it what?
Paulie Win Day.
Paulie Win Day. Paulie Win Day. God, I had this note on. Paul Blackburn has won each of his last 3 starts. You don't care about wins.
Paulie Win Day.
Now, the A's have won each of Blackburn's last 3 starts. Once again, you don't care whether the team wins or the pitcher wins, right? Wins don't matter.
Team wins. I don't care.
Oh,
if the
team
pitcher
wins do matter. Okay. He's 1-0 with a 1.56 ERA in that span. People wanted Paul Blackburn. Our team said no. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing him and Noda basically were the guys that were off the table. They love Noda. I love Noda. Noda's going to be, well, we'll get into it later. But Paul Blackburn, J.P. Sears, Luis Medina, but we're not going to be able to sit here and honestly say to you, all right, we got 5. You need like 13 to 15 guys, you know? So we're going to get excited, and as I think Mark Kotsay is, about LB, Lawrence Butler. It's Lawrence Butler Day, by the way. And do not send him back down. Just keep him here. Let him play. Let him play with Ruiz. Let him play with Blade. Let him play together. Let's just see it. Let them grow together as a unit. And hopefully Ruiz gets on base more. Hopefully Blade hits more. And hopefully Butler, by the way, I checked with the great David Feldman, our A's historian, because we asked, Lawrence Butler, would you say he's 210?
Yeah.
He's 6'3", 210. This kid's an athlete. When is the last time the A's drafted, trained, developed a terrific athlete in the outfield and brought him up? We don't know. The name that I had to go back to 86 for Jose Canseco. That was a long time. A lot of people who are going to listen to this and watch this today, you weren't even alive in 1986. It's my freshman year of high school.
I wasn't.
When I was in high school, the A's were king, man. So, who do you think David Feldman said is the last guy that was like Lawrence Butler, coming up, athlete, outfielder, developed, trained by the A's?
So I'm taking it wasn't Ben Grieve. I'm going to go Jose Canseco.
No, it was not Ben Grieve.
Jose Canseco.
You are correct. Jose Canseco. We haven't seen what we're going to see tonight since 1986. For the people who can contact us on the show.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Is that on YouTube
and
and Facebook?
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook right now, where were you in 1986? What were you doing? Were you even alive? And if you were alive, what were you doing? I was a freshman in high school. Cody wasn't even alive. That's the last time we've seen something like this. Lawrence Butler. And if Lawrence Butler comes up and plays somewhat like he played in spring training, and Geloff continues to do what he does, and Soderstrom starts hitting, Ruiz is stealing bags, hopefully Blade hits. Next thing you know, you're looking around and you're going, hey, you got something. Because you already know what Noda can do. Nicky Knox, Nicky Stickit, Nicky Lickit, Nicky Pickett, whatever the hell you want to call him.
Nicky Pie Shop.
Nicky Pie Shop. If Nicky Pie Shop starts hitting, you already know he can play defense. You're now looking at some things.
One person said they weren't alive, by the way. Someone said they were sophomore at Castro Valley High School in 1986. The same person said Michael Choice, ?
No.
God, he was touted, though.
This guy's a thoroughbred. Power, speed, throw, everything. Michael Choice was out of the University of Arlington, Texas, if I'm correct.
Yes. Another listener.
Super nice guy.
Another listener said they were born in 1997.
For you in 1997, you clearly remember Jose Canseco in 1986. Do you see what I'm saying? You're born in 97. You got no clue.
They know who Ben Grieve is, though.
No. Ben Grieve was Rookie of the Year. What year? It's in the 90s.
I think it was 97.
Yeah.
So make sure I was correct. Ben Grieve. I remember him as a great Devil Ray.
When Lou Piniella ruined his career.
Son.
Out now. Bases son. No. Get him.
98 Rookie of the Year.
It's one of the greatest Johnny Gomes stories. I wish you guys could have been there. This was Devil Ray. This isn't Rays. This is Devil Ray. And Lou Piniella was just tired of these kids and losing and everything. So every once in a while, he'd wake up during the game and see what's going on and make a decision. And it just so happened in this one game, it's bases loaded. Ben Grieve is done as a player at this point. I mean, he stinks. And Lou Piniella pops up out of his slumber and sees that Ben Grieve's over the base. He immediately stands there and goes, now, son. He's yelling at Ben Grieve. But Lou Piniella didn't know anybody's names. He just called everybody son. He looks over at the batting coach, the batting coach, according to Johnny Gomes, and says, I don't care who you got, just get somebody else.
See who was.
And then we'd look back and go, come on back, son, come on back, calling Ben Grieve back. It ruined. That was the end of Ben Grieve. Was that game supposedly?
Let's see who who's on my coaching staff. The hitting coach that year would have been Lee Ella. Oh, Chris Bossie was on that staff. Nice.
Lee Elia.
That's an I. I thought it was double L.
Lee Elia, the former manager of the greatest rant in the history of professional sports, when he calls out all the Chicago. Have you ever heard the Lee?
No.
You've never heard when he's screaming about how bad Cub fans are, calling them losers because they don't have jobs.
Oh, wow. I'm sure it's going to.
You've never heard that? It's like one of the most famous rants in baseball history. Lee Elia, manager of the Cubs. Remember, they didn't have lights. Some of you may not even know that. The Cubs used to not have lights.
Yeah, their first night game wasn't until 89.
Ryan Sandberg hit the first home run at night at Wrigley Field. So he called them all a bunch of losers because they were booing them. And so the manager called his own fan base a bunch of losers because they come to the ballpark and they don't have jobs. You've never heard this rant?
No, I
we
guess.
Can't. We can play it, but you got to first. And he's yelling to the writers, print it. Just put a Lee Elia rant. We can't. There's some vulgar language in there.
When did he do it? 1983. No. Yeah, 1983. I'll have to go back and watch it.
He goes, one of the great lines is, something, and you blank suckers. I mean, you couldn't believe the stuff he says in this rant. And you tell them blank sucker, da 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 da, and you're like, any manager.
Let me see what his managerial record was.
If any manager did a rant like that, he'd be fired.
Shocker, he's under 500 as a manager.
He would be fired immediately for the language that he would have used with the media. It wasn't, I mean, yeah, some of the stuff those guys used to say.
Oh.
I mean, all of our managers, every single time a manager talks, he's on camera now. Can you imagine? Bleep, 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 bleep. I mean, they would be like, whoa, 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 whoa. We got to call a meeting.
And dump button doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, we got to call a meeting here. And some of these are live, and you'd be saying this. Just wait. After the show, we're going to listen to it together, and I'm going to go, I can't believe you haven't heard that.
Oh, okay.
It is phenomenal. And remember, he's talking about his own fan base.
Well, fitting. He went from managing the Cubs to, wait for it, Philadelphia. So if that just fits the narrative perfectly. Go live in that city. God.
Do we have our World Series champion?
Yes, Dew is here.
What is happening?
What's up, guys?
You've been coming up in conversation. I don't know. Have your ears been burning?
Everything. I'm down here in Florida, man. Everything's burning, man. It's hot.
Well, we just had the A's Hall of Fame ceremony, which has really become a special thing. And Jason Giambi went in, Carney Lansford went in, Gene Tennis went in. And, you know, as we're looking, the list is, you know, because you got the guys that won the 3 World Series in the 70s. You got the guys in the 80s who won a World Series and went. And then you got the Moneyball guys. So we've now been thinking years from now, you know, once the era of what you guys did, you know, because Marcus Semien was just in town. Like when he retires, you're still not retired yet. Your name's starting to pop up as someday we might be putting you in a green jacket and calling you an A's Hall of Famer.
I don't know about that. That would be more than I deserve. But like, I got selected by the fans to, I believe it was the 50th anniversary team. And that was an incredible honor. And I think a lot of it probably had to do with the relationship that I had with the fans. I had a pretty good run in Oakland, but I think
you had a damn good run in Oakland.
I was very lucky. But I think the thing that meant the most to me is that, you know, it was chosen by the fans, and getting to be a part of that is really, really special.
Well, I think back to when you got called up and I did your first interview on the radio for the pregame show. and it was just like, this is like a Disney story. I mean, you're done. You go to Keith Lippman, who just went in recently last year to the A's Hall of Fame. And you go to Lippman and go, let me pitch. And the next thing you know, you're in the big leagues pitching. I mean, you couldn't make that up.
No, you couldn't. And I tell people about it still to this day. And every time I recount the story, I'm reminded of how lucky I got and what an absolutely surreal whirlwind it was to have everything come together, you know, to switch to pitching in August of 2011 and debut in the big leagues in June of 2012. I don't know. I think it's helped me maintain a different perspective over the course of my career because, shoot, I got really lucky and none of this almost didn't happen. And to still have a chance to do it, you know, at my age and after, you know, some of the injuries and stuff, I feel really, really lucky.
So where are you right now? Obviously you're in Florida. You're not going to be at this series. From a health standpoint, where are you?
I'm getting close. So I had elbow surgery last summer. I had the internal brace to repair my UCL, and I had a setback in spring training. And I came back from that. I got sent out on a rehab assignment at the end of May, early June. And while I was out on a rehab assignment, I partially tore a tendon in my knee. So I had to come back to Florida and continue rehabbing that. But things are going really, really well. I'm set to face hitters next week. So I'm looking to, see where I can get to by the end of the season. Hopefully get sent out, play some real baseball. And, I'm excited about the progress that I've made and how my body's feeling now. So I'm trying to finish the season on a positive note.
It's so interesting. We just had Mark Kotsay on. He joins us every week here on A's Cast for the Mark Kotsay Show. And he talked about for the young players and going back to when he was a young player, going back to the Florida Marlins back in the day, where he talked about it was so important for the young players to be able to finish out the season, to know what it's like just to finish a season. You were like that. But now as a veteran guy, how important is it to come back healthy and finish the season? Because obviously you still have baseball left in you.
Yeah, when my body cooperates, I feel like I can still compete at a really high level. And so like I want to know, I would like to get to a point before the off season, that I know I can still do this. I know I can still pitch. I can still get outs. I can still execute and do everything that I need to do to be successful at the big league level. It would create a lot more uncertainty, right? If I wasn't able to make it back by the end of the season and was staring down another off season of rehab and, question marks and stuff like that. So the timing of the knee injury was really, really tough. But like I said, like the progress has been really good. It's allowed me a little bit more time to work on some things and to get my body right, really dial in some mechanics, coming off of UCL surgery. Like a lot of players say it's really not until that second season when they feel like they're really back, you get everything, all that fine tuning finally syncs back up. So like, a little bit more time to work on things probably wasn't the worst thing in the world. So I just said I'm going to put my blinders on, put my head down, and see how much progress I can make before the end of the season.
I think about your career and how you first came out of college and you were looked at as the future first baseman for the A's. So it really shows how talented you were of a baseball player, that if you don't get hurt and did have the injuries, you could have hit at the big league level. That didn't work out, so you pitched at the big league level. And it's so rare, right? But maybe more guys like you, because of Shohei Ohtani now, maybe will it? Because remember Mark Kotsay? I played against Mark Kotsay in college. Mark Kotsay's hitting 430.
Yeah.
Then he comes out a center field blowing 97, closing games out. But they would never give him a shot as a pitcher. Well, do you think maybe that we're so in love with Shohei Ohtani now that guys like yourself and Mark Kotsay, who can do both, will get more of a shot now?
I hope so. I think we're starting to see it a little bit. Some clubs are letting, guys that have been drafted here in the last few years get a shot to do both, at least initially, and kind of keep their options open. Some, they want to see, do they pull ahead developmentally wise as a hitter or a pitcher? They want to keep their options open. It's tough to manage that workload. Like it would be, Shohei makes it look a lot easier than I think it is. Not just the mental aspect of, preparing yourself to play at this level on both sides of the ball, but also what it means from a physical standpoint as well. There's so much work that goes in behind the scenes to be successful at the big league level. And now it's like, well, how do you prioritize and how do you manage your time while still being able to stay fresh to play? I think it can absolutely be done. And I hope more guys start to get that shot. It's just like, you guys see probably Shohei more than me. I watch him on TV all the time. He's my favorite player, but I think he makes it look a lot easier than it is. Go pitching a complete game shutout in game one of a doubleheader and then hitting 2 homers in the second game. It's just, that's high school stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, Dan O'Dowd, the former GM, and you see him on MLB Network, was on earlier. And we were talking to him because now we're starting to see a little bit of the wear. We've already seen Tommy John surgery with him, but now as he's in his prime, but he's been dealing with cramps in his hands and his legs. It's a sign of dehydration and fatigue. It happens. I mean, it happened to LeBron James for a few years. And so he just wonders if it will be, and I think about yourself, if it's going to be more probably better to have him be a reliever, kind of how John Smoltz went to be a reliever. Like for you to be a reliever and hitter would be a hell of a lot easier probably than having to be a hitter and a starter. Would you agree with that?
I think so. It's a different kind of demand on the body. It's obviously you're only pitching 1 inning at a time, sometimes 2 innings at a time, but maybe you're doing it 3 times a week. And you're revving that engine from 0 to 100, really, really quickly. So it's just a different kind of toll on your body. But I think from a time managing standpoint, yeah, it might make it easier for him to do both and extend his career. That would be an incredibly tough decision to make because we've seen what he can do as a starting pitcher and how good he is. So I wouldn't want to be the one to make that decision. I think, he's so good that there's a number of different ways that he can be able to adapt and continue to find a way to do both.
One thing that I've always known about athletes, like the toughest thing to do is to rehab because it's very lonely. You're by yourself. The one thing that, as you mentioned, you can go back to high school, go back to Little League, Pony League, Colt League, whatever league. One of the things that we always love is our teammates and being around it and being in uniform. Just mentally, how tough is it when you're just away from everything and rehabbing is just working out?
Yeah, it can be really difficult, like you said, because you want to be with the boys. You want to be, working with them every day. You want to be competing. You want to be in the trenches with them. And, even when you're around the team, and you're on the injured list, it can still be tough because you're putting a ton of work in yourself, but you're not going through it with them. And you can feel a little bit disconnected from the team. But you have to find the silver lining in it. You have to look at it like, all right, this is a chance for me to, come back even stronger and make an adjustment. This, baseball is such a game of adjustments. If you can go back and break things down and say like, well, okay, well, can I move a little bit more efficiently? Can I add some more strength? Do I change my repertoire as a pitcher, so I can maybe have some more efficient innings? Find something that, you can really sink your teeth into and work on every day so that you can come back better. And I think as an athlete, you have to be able to love that process. It's an absolute grind, mentally especially. But you have to be able to get to a place where you can really embrace it and, really fall in love with that process.
Lawrence Butler, one of our big-time prospects, is coming up today. He's going to be starting in right field, and we got a lot of the prospects up. Just as someone has come up as one of those type guys, what really is the key when you first get to the big leagues, when everything's going so fast and, oh, my God, the crowds – What's like some advice you would give some of our young players who are just coming up for the first time?
I would say keep things as close to whatever routine you had, in the minor leagues, as far as your preparation goes. Keep that as close to the same as you can. Recognize that there's going to be more adrenaline. There's going to be nerves. That's normal. But it doesn't mean that you have to try harder or do more. That extra adrenaline that you get, from running out onto a big league field is going to take, just that by itself is going to take your game and raise it another level. We start getting in trouble as athletes when we feel that adrenaline rush, and then we start trying to do even more and force the issue. And that's when we get outside ourselves. That's when we start pressing. Recognize that you're gonna feel some nerves. You're probably not gonna be able to feel your legs for a little bit right when the game starts. But that's part of it, man. Like everybody went through it, so we all know what's going on. Just look around, take a second to look around, embrace it. You're in the big leagues, you're there, and do everything that you can do from a preparation standpoint, from a learning standpoint, to soak it in as much as you possibly can.
Great A's always find their way back. It's incredible how many times Ricky Henderson came back to the A's. I'm not going to be shocked because I think about your relationship. You mentioned the fans, you mentioned the community, what the community meant to you, your wife, your growth. I'm not going to be shocked that when it's all said and done, we can see you back here in Oakland. And I know how much these fans have been hurting lately. There's no question about it, and how much these fans mean to you.
Yeah, shout out to the fans. They've been incredible. I think this season, especially, showing their support and making their voices heard. I know there's some going to the game tonight in Washington D.C., and I know they're going to have support from Nats fans there as well. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the future has in store for me. I know that Oakland will always have a very, very special place in my heart. And same thing for my wife. That's where I grew up. That's where I got a chance to establish myself in the big leagues. I had an incredible connection with the fans. And that's the first thing I talk about, man. Whenever anybody asks me about Oakland, they're like, "What's it like over there?" Because I think people recognize it's a little bit different, and I'm like, man, the fans are awesome. I think back to those teams in 12, 13, 14. The connection we had with the fans, the support we got from the community was so cool. And even the Coliseum. Whatever you want to say about the actual building itself, they made it a fun place to play. And, so shout out to the fans, shout out to the guys on the team right now. I think, having to navigate a big league season, there's so many young guys on the team, or guys getting their first shot to establish themselves. And it can be tough, keeping the blinders on and staying focused with, some of the noise that's been going on in the background for them. And so I think they've handled it. They seem to have handled it well. There's good people in Oakland, and I love being, connected with the organization and the fan base.
Well, that's why I think when we talk about the future, at some point you will not play, and then you're going to come up on the ballot and fans vote for part of it. I also think of what we do at fantasy camp, special advisor. I have a feeling, you somehow, some way, because of your connection with this franchise, you'll be a part of the A's family for a long time.
I don't know what's in store, but like I said, I think when I'm done, I want to stay around the game some way, somehow, and continue to maybe work with younger guys, with players, or be an ambassador for the game itself. I don't know what's in store, but Oakland is always going to be where I got my start, and I'm proud to have worn the green and gold for sure.
You're the best, my friend. Be well. Can't wait to see it back on the mound. We're always going to be rooting for you, and I hope everything will go well for you down there in Florida, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
The great Sean Doolittle right here on A's Cast Live. Just an all-time great human being. We root for players because of their successes, and obviously he was very successful, but he is salt of the earth. And remember, athletics.com/vote. You can go vote for next year's class. Fans are part of the vote, which why I say at some point when his career, I don't know how you get on the ballot. Do you have to be retired to get on the ballot?
I would assume so.
1-800-VETO. How does it work?
I don't know any current players that are on. There's no current players on there. And it's
so
nice.
He's not retired, so you're going to have to wait. So it's that was the thing when we talked about Semien. People mentioned Semien, and you're like, Simeon's contract's got
years left.
5 years after this. Wasn't it a 7-year deal?
7 for 175.
So this is the second year.
Correct, yes.
So he's got 5 more years after this before he can even be on the ballot. I mean, if you want to put Matt Olson on for all the home runs he hit, Matt Olson won't be done for, God, who even knows how long he'll play.
I think Dew's a couple years older than me. Dew's, I think, 36. So he's essentially a year, a little over a year older.
We got to figure out how you get on the ballot, but Doolittle should be on the ballot.
Yeah, and
I don't know if he gets in, but he should be on the ballot.
For everyone watching right now, if you see I put up the full screen of the 2024 fan voting, if you take out your phone and just you can scan the QR code and then it'll just literally bring it up to athletics.com/vote. And then there it is. You can vote for your guys.
You're one of those fancy smart guys, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I don't like QR. I wasn't always a big QR guy, but
you had to with menus.
Yeah, still did. I went to a place last night and he had to use it. Where were
we? That's just, you know what? Because they don't want.
Oh, Rookies. I went to Rookies in downtown San Jose.
They don't want to do menus anymore because it's cheaper. That's why.
That makes sense.
I hate it. I want a menu.
You know, one of the comments we got on here was, I wasn't born, but I know the chicken pie shop was around back in 1986.
You're damn right. The San Diego chicken pie shop was around. 87 years old. Break?
Yeah, we're done. Pregame's at 3:25.
What time does this game start? I'm still ready. I didn't even get into my ripping the Giants thing.
We can still use it because they're using the opener tonight.
Giants are last in baseball in starters innings. And just to let everybody know, I went to the biggest Giant fans I know, hardcore baseball Giant honks. And I asked them, do you like how they play? How they do? And not one of them said yes. They all hate it.
Opener tonight.
Yeah. They're Giant fans are not, they like wins, but they do not like this style at all. Reminds me of the Baltimore Ravens when won the Super Bowl at Trent Dilfer. Remember that Super Bowl team? Like everybody remember, they went 4 games without scoring a touchdown. Do you think Ravens fans were having a good time? Oh, I only care about wins. That ain't true. Because I remember the Ravens fans were flipping out when they went 4 games without scoring a touchdown.
Where's that Mike Gundy? That ain't true.
Giants are winning, but fans don't enjoy watching this. I mean, you're going to enjoy your team if they don't like, and I know there's been years where we don't like watching some of it. Eric Burns still talks about it to where he would get in with Billy Beane. He's like, I'd have 3 good days. The next thing you're sitting me because of splits. Like, ride me while I'm hot.
They still, the Giants do all the time. They're pinch hitting for guys in the second inning.
Oh, my. They're mixing and matching in the third. They were mixing and matching for Tony Kemp in the third inning. I'm like, really?
Hey, how'd that A.J. Pollock trade work out, huh? Injured list.
No.
Didn't see
By
that
the way,
coming.
It was Wednesday. He went on the list, so I'm on the floor of NBC Sports, and, there's Giant Honk City. Oh, my God, A.J. Pollock. I was just laughing. What did you really think was going to happen? All of a sudden, you were going to trade for him, he comes Cal Ripken?
Hey, how'd that last Mariners guy you signed work out? Haniger's been hurt more than he's played.
You thought you thought Mitchie Haniger was going to be now
Mitchie hamstring?
You thought he was going to be Steve Garvey and play every game?
All right, we got
Miguel Tejada.
Less than 3 minutes for you. Got to do Ace Total Access brought to you by Chevron.
All righty, we want to thank
Fran Riordan.
Fran Riordan. No one circles the wagon like Fran Riordan in first place down in Vegas in the second half. The great Dan O'Dowd from MLB Network, Mark Kotsay, and A's great. We'll still call him A's great, Sean Doolittle.
Yeah, good show. Good week.
Good week. Win.
Yeah, it was a week.
Win.
We've been winning since last week. We've had a couple of really good shows. Since the trade deadline, we've been on fire.
We've stepped our game up.
Yeah.
Good job by you.
Good job by you.
Because everybody in the post game, Cody, everything Cody does. Yeah, good job by you. I'll just start it.
I'll think of you when I'm in the desert tomorrow.
Which desert will you be in?
Going to Tehachapi down by Lancaster.
Oh, my God.
Say prayers for me, Ace fans. Yeah.
The Jethawks, they aren't even alive anymore.
Great ballpark, though. It looks awesome. But
yeah, hey, taxpayers, spend all this money for a ballpark, and then now they don't have a team.
Well, I don't think they saw that coming. Oh, well.
Lancaster, my old roommate, one of my best friends is from Lancaster. Lancaster is where they filmed the old movie The Flintstones because they wanted to make it look like it was a horrible place. We need to find a horrible place to film The Flintstones. I know, Lancaster.
Should have done Fresno.
Oh, wow. Shots fired at V for the Valley. You know what? I hope, if we realign with the Pac-12, I hope we keep Fresno out of it. We don't need you. We don't need you.
All right, we better go.
All righty. Coming up next, A's Total Access. And, of course, don't forget, we'll talk to you after the game on the A's Clubhouse Show. Thank you for watching, listening to A's Cast Live. This is Chris Townsend and Commander Cody for Link Soul. You need to redo your wardrobe, especially for summer. They got new colors.